Paula, if you can go ahead and show us at 6:32. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. I would like to go ahead and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're doing a little bit of modifications and a little bit extra time too. If a lot of you get in here, notice there's a little bit of traffic. There was an accident on I-35, so that meant a lot of stuff got diverted into town. So a little bit of extra stuff. So we're just starting a few minutes behind schedule, but it's all good. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to our great city secretary, Paula.
Thank you. Yes, to the roll call. Alderman Joseph Moore for District 1.
Present.
District 2, Sam Cortez.
Present.
District 3, David Emery.
I'm here.
District 4, Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
And District 5, Charles Higgins, absent today.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing that. If everybody can please rise, join me for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. I was waiting for that toot. Those are Boy Scouts. I'm just used to hearing that. So, comes along with that. All right, I still want to ask, even though we haven't had anybody sign up, any citizens to be heard? Anybody that is going to speak that is not on the agenda or needed the council to know? All right, perfect. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 5, the presentation of proclamations, and we're going to take care of A, and this is a recognition of Lytle ISD girls cross country team. So, come on up, and the coach and the coaches too. Come on up. So what we're going to do first is, while I'm passing these out, our City Secretary Paula will go ahead and read the proclamation. So I'll turn it over to you. Here we go.
Whereas the city of Lytle, Texas is proud to honor the Lytle High School Pirate Girls cross-country team consisting of Claire Cook, Mariah Gomez, Isabel Guerrero, Marisa Lopez, Samantha Mujica, Desmarie Ortega, Francis Costello, and manager Rose Costello. Whereas the city of Lytle, Texas acknowledges the great accomplishments under the leadership of coaches Gilbert Reese and Sebastian Benavides, especially for the girls team reaching the state competitions in the last 2 consecutive years, the first in Lytle's history. Whereas the city of Lytle recognizes their accomplishments of winning first place in team competitions in Meet at Peace, Banera, Islander, McNeil, and District 28 3A, winning second place in Forestville, Medina Valley, Regional 4-3A, winning third place at Spoke, and winning bronze at state champion. Whereas the city of Lytle recognizes seniors Mariah Gomez, Isabel Guerrero, Marisa Lopez, and Desmarie Ortega, all District 2021-2022, all Region 2022, and all State 2022 for Mariah, all District 2019 and 2020, and all Region for 2019 and 2021 for Isabel, all District 2020, 21, 22, all Region 22, and all State 2022 for Marissa, and all District 2022 for Desmarie. The seniors are responsible for the team's accomplishments between 2029 and 2022. 3 district titles, 1 regional champion, 1 regional runner-up, a state recognition as 4th in 2021 and 3rd in 2022. Whereas the city of Lytle recognizes junior Samantha Mujica for her accomplishments in all districts in 2021 and 2022. Whereas the city of Lytle recognizes freshmen Claire Cook, Francis Costello for their accomplishments as both were all district in 2022.
Okay, so then it's over to me. Now therefore, I, as Ruben Gonzalez, by the virtue of the authority invested in me as a mayor of the city of Lytle, Texas, in recognition therefore do hereby proclaim that the city of Lytle, Texas feels this proclamation is in order to recognize the many accomplishments of the Lytle ISD girls cross-country team. In witness whereof I hear unto my hand and seal the city of Lytle, Texas, the 28th day of November 2022 AD. Congrats! Didn't want to miss out the opportunity. A lot of stuff that was actually said, but I know that there's a lot more behind that. A lot of sacrifices, a lot of things, right, Coach?
Oh, yes.
That actually happened that we couldn't capture, the things that make a difference. And I can tell a story about every one of you. Look, you see the goosebumps? Again, because I've seen you, and I've seen you make a difference. and I saw you come back. And you were hurt, and you pushed yourself through. And you did that because it was for the team. And I know you made a big difference. So we're really, really proud of all of you and everything that you've done. This is going to be tough, Coach, for next year. Woo, right? But I think they've been mentoring some other girls, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to grab some others and bring them back. What was the really coolest part about being out there is just watching some of the previous students that came back and watched you guys compete at the state. And that just tells you how much of a family and the tightness that you actually have. And that's one of the important reasons why we didn't want to miss the opportunity, a small token of appreciation on behalf of all the council and the city of Lytle to be able to say congratulations and thank you for everything that you have done. And also be able to thank the coach, and I'll talk a little bit more about him with the boys. But Ms. Smith, thank you so much for the opportunity and the partnership, allowing us to be part of this. It's very historic for this to happen. Only a few schools get a chance, both boys and girls. So this is history. You guys will be talking about it for years and years and years and that. But thank you for joining us. If it's okay, we're going to take some photos. We're going to look that way. And I'm going to move this a little bit this way so I can squeeze in there. And council, if you can please stand right in the back right there. That'd be awesome. There you go. Yeah? Okay. We're going to do something different. Okay. Parents, come on up. Come on up. We're going to get this moment. You guys are part of this too. So come on up. If you want to be here, if you want to be in the back, whichever way you want. We're going to squeeze everybody in here. Wherever you want to be. Come on up. Don't miss the opportunity.
Yeah, y'all come on over here.
You guys should
Get behind your
in the
kids.
middle.
Okay.
Where's your kids?
Put daughter in there.
No, man.
We're going to make it look like it's wherever you want to be. Okay, make sure we can see everybody. Camera, we're going to look forward over there. Here we go. And stand by. We're going to get one more photo back over there. We got Divine taking care of us. Divine News. Awesome. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Congrats. So proud of you. You guys are awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats, congrats,
Thank you
congrats.
so much for the support.
No, the other way around. You guys knocked it out of the park.
Congratulations.
Okay, right here.
Congratulations.
Okay. Come on up. Come on up. Here we go. Yes. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to pass these out, and we'll go ahead and get started reading.
Whereas the city of Lytle, Texas is proud to honor the Lytle High School Pirate Boys cross country team consisting of Johnny Alvarez, Yandel Esquives, Lucas Estrada, Tristan Lopez, Brandon Obando, Abel Sanchez, Robert Wagner. Whereas the city of Lytle, Texas acknowledges the great accomplishments under the leadership of Coach Gilbert Reese and Sebastian Benavides, especially at the first time Lytle High School's history that both boys and girls cross country teams made the state competitions the same year. Whereas the city of Lytle recognizes their accomplishments of winning first place in team competitions at Mission Medina Valley, Peace, Bandera, Islander, McNeil, Polk, District 20A through A, Region 3A, and State 3A, becoming 2022 Gold State champions. Whereas the Lytle recognizes senior Robert Wagner for his accomplishments between 2019 and 2022 by having 4 district titles, 3 regional championships, 1 regional runner-up, and a state recognition for 4 straight years includes an individual bronze medal in 2021, along with being highlighted by the Express News and an all-area runner. Whereas the city of Lytle recognizes junior Abel Sanchez and Brandon Obando for their accomplishments, all districts 2021 for Abel and all districts for 2021 and 22, and all region 2022 for Brandon. Whereas the city of Lytle recognizes sophomores Johnny Alvarez, Lucas Estrada, Tristan Lopez, and Yandel Esquives, all District 2022, all Region 2022, and all State 2022 for Johnny, and all District 2022 for Luke, Tristan, and Yandel.
First, thank you. How about a round of applause for our city? So now therefore I, Ruben Gonzalez, by the virtue of authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Lytle, Texas, in recognition therefore do hereby proclaim that the city of Lytle, Texas feels this proclamation is in order to recognize the many accomplishments of the Lytle ISD boys cross-country team. Witness whereof unto set on my hand and seal the city of Lytle, Texas, this 28th day of November 2022. I tell you, you guys, you're unbelievable. And the coach let me know. I didn't realize this because I know I didn't make it to all the meets out there. But you guys were first in every meet this year. Every single, all the way to state. And you don't see that often. You know, you might see some flexibility, but they actually just stayed on top and just highlighted your commitment and what you were doing. I remember standing out there for state and I saw the last, I was like, is that the last one? And we were like, oh, this is good. Good timing, everything was set on. And I remember seeing somebody right in the front. And I'm looking at him. I tell you what, he was like going, right, coach? It was just unbelievable. But, you know, one of the best things that we saw out there is seeing both coaches, actually just smiling. I've never seen them smile so much like they did that day. Is that right? Those of you who were there? He was smiling. I mean, that was a proud moment. But it was just an unbelievable feat. You guys have highlighted the city of Lytle, have actually brought a lot. And Coach, you have been a huge part of that. Your dedication, both during the week, off week, I know you've been a great mentor towards them. And you've really helped them grow, not only as an athlete, but as a young adult. And we can't thank you enough for everything that you guys have done to be able to make that possible. So congratulations again on behalf of all of us. There you go. There you go. I'll go right over there. Take one photo like this, and then we'll do another one. There you go. There you go. No. There you go. Perfect.
Mayor, it was helping. You could get these young men to look up. They keep looking down at their shoes and
It's all good. There you go. Got him? All right. Okay, stay right there. Okay, parents, come on up. Here we go. You do have good shoes. Look at that. Yeah. I like the shoes.
I can see over everybody here. No.
You're between someone.
I know. I'm tall enough here. I was gonna stand behind Luke. Huh? I was gonna stand behind Luke. I'm just gonna pop my head in.
Okay, let's see, make sure we can see everybody, nobody hiding, right in
I'm kind of
between.
short. Oh.
Make sure, don't hide. Make sure you can see everybody. Right through. We got multiple, I'm gonna go this side.
Do you see me? I'm pretty short.
You got everybody?
I can't breathe.
Work it.
We can see everybody in the back.
Okay,
Can or
ready?
can't?
Here we go.
They can't.
1, 2, 3. There you go.
And then go back up.
Good? Now ready? All right, you got it.
I think they're gonna wear their medal.
Thank you. Appreciate it. There we go. Keep making a difference, okay? All right. Thank you so much. Council, appreciate all your assistance with that. Let's see. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's go to item number 6, consent agenda. 8, consider the approval of the payment of the bills. And right in front of you, you should have a list that was presented to you. Go ahead and use that one because that has the latest updates on there. Just take a look at that one. Thank you.
And that this, the first item, fuel, what fuel is it?
Fuel man is all of our PD cars as well as, the.
City cars?
Yeah, any cars.
Okay.
All city vehicles.
All right.
There's nothing really irregular on any of this, so, and, we're getting caught up now to where we don't have as much bills, we're getting them all entered before the 15th. I don't think there is anything we are behind on at all.
Hey, Richie.
Hello. Y'all have so many people here
You're late, Actually, really late.
that we have the limit here.
Mayor, I move we approve the paying of the bills as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and, oh, okay, that's second. Okay, any further discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much, appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move on to 7. Open session, take action on items discussed. A, consider and act upon approval of change order number 3 from TRC water well number 4. Matt.
So council, as you know, we have to put an extra air valve that's on the water well number 4. It's something that was discovered when clay valve came down and looked at it. It was either what I believe is snafu by the engineers, just forgot to design it in there. So in order to accurately document the contract and the install of all that, they asked for a change order. It's a $0 change order because the city's not paying for it. It's their mistake. Even though it does say that there's 0 additional days added, it does extend the revised completion date to January 8th of 2023. They don't anticipate that. They hope to have it done this week. They anticipate having the air release valve, check valve in this week. And if so, they're gonna come down and put that air release in and do the installation, are the only 2 things they lack. But they're at the mercy now. They finally located it, they got it ordered, and they're waiting on shipping. It's not on some weird 49-week back order. It's something that everybody looked at, it's in stock on a shelf, we have to ship it to you. So that's all, we're at the mercy of shipping right now. But every other lead order was 48 weeks for any part.
And we have to change the timeline for that?
They TTE said, in TRC said it would be best to document, for documentation purposes, to adjust this. They anticipate getting it done before that and being completed, but they're waiting on the change order, or they're waiting on the part to come in. So,
Okay.
I said, down at the bottom it says 0 additional days will be added to the contract, but I noticed if you come up, it says revised final completion date of 1/8/23, and it was in December. So they just missed that.
Yeah.
Initially, they started with they wanted to trade off something for the cash value of it. I refused that and told them it wasn't our mistake. It was either the engineers or the contractor, but nowhere in between did it say City of Lytle. They agreed and said they would change it at their cost, not ours.
Jesse, anything consider for that? I mean,
Sometimes if there's a delay, if it was going to cost the city additional, there could be some penalties in the contract for that, but in this case, it's a fairly minor adjustment and it's a fairly short additional time. I think that the city did get notice from the performance bond company just to kind of check on the status, and that sounds like the engineer's working with the contractor to finalize it so they can assist the city. So you're just about done with this project. I know you've almost been there for a while now, but fortunately, it sounds like this is in fact kind of toward the end.
Total cost that we're gonna list, if they don't get this completed in the next few days on the bond company paperwork, is $8,500 that stands outstanding, not completed, the value of what's not completed, out of a $754,000, correct, $764,945 contract.
and that's the only thing that's left, just the clay
That
valves?
is it. And this
And
only
the
got left.
insulation?
The insulation, which they can't get on until they get this valve piece in. But that air check wasn't discovered until we did that final completion walkthrough with clay valve. And they're the ones that actually found it, and that's when I began the talks with TRC, our engineers, and this contractor on where it got left off and how it got missed.
We have the insulation?
Yeah, they have everything.
Okay. So
They
as
just
soon as the
can't,
valve's
they
in-
can't insulate, yeah, they don't want to insulate until they get this piece in, that way it's all insulated
Sure,
correctly.
sure.
They anticipated it actually last week and it didn't come in, they're hoping that it comes in this week.
I'm with you. It's just, I don't know.
I agree, Mayor, I agree with you 100%, either, we can say no, but it's still, we're at the same time frame. I mean, we're still at that mercy of waiting for that part to show up.
Yep. I'm with you. It's just more the acceptance,
I understand.
because we were supposed to be done months ago.
This project and I don't want to blame this contractor, this entire project wasn't tracked well enough on whoever's in, and it caused a steamroller effect all the way through to today.
The main thing, honestly, when it comes down to it, is it won't put, by changing the date, it's not going to put us in an awkward position for the future or anything.
And the well is operational. It's in use. It does not change anything. We've been using it for several weeks now. It's just that formal documentation they need.
Okay. Council?
Mayor, I move that we approve the change order number 3 for TRC water well number 4.
Okay. A motion on the floor for us to go ahead and approve the change order.
Second.
Okay, got a second from Joseph. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Council.
I got a newer version with TTE signature too to gather your last one.
Roger that. We will take care of it. Thanks, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, B, consider and act upon adoption of new employee handbook and set effective date.
So council, as you know, this was a task. Well, I've been in this position 6 months, and it was before that we started this process. It is a final document, been through legal and all of us a few times. So it's been presented to you for 2 weeks for review. I've had no questions from any of the council members on anything as far as an email response. So it's the time now we can formally adopt it and set an effective date. That way we can put it out to all the city employees for review and get their signatures on the acknowledgement form, and it becomes our new employee manual, updated, upgraded version from where we used to be.
Department heads, you guys reviewed it? All bueno?
Well,
I don't think all of them have had it, no.
No.
we haven't actually seen the final version.
The chief, nothing's changed from what you've seen when we went
I
through.
probably have.
A lot of the changes, were changing from, what used to be a lot of the council to now come to the city administrator, and what used to go to a lot to the city secretary comes to the city administrator. Talks about, discipline, review, stuff like that, how it flows now in the city. And it's just the upgraded terminology on everything. When we started this project, the council, we set a committee to go over this, and it started out with all the department heads, and we found that that became cumbersome at times because we weren't getting all the department heads in, and we weren't getting a lot of feedback in a timely fashion. But we can go back to the department heads, have them look at it. I personally don't think there's gonna be a lot of changes, and the changes, they say, hey, what about this, what about that? We can send it back to legal, let them charge us again to say, can't change it, this is what we gave you, that's why we gave you this. It's been through an HR review, professional HR company, and it's been through our legal for review. Nothing, the meat and bones don't change. You know, as far as vacation, holidays, what the employees are accustomed to is not gonna change.
Yeah.
Changes are gonna come to paydays. We're gonna go to the exact same 2 week, with the exception of the police department. Every other city department will be on the exact same pay scale. Currently now we have Public Works, Animal Control, and is the library on the same one as Wednesday to Wednesday? Or are you on this Saturday, like city hall? We have 2 different pay scales. And the problem is when we process the payroll for direct deposit, we have to process it and the employees have to pre-fill out 3 days on their timesheet. We need to close out payroll the Friday before it get in, we review it on Monday, Wednesday when it's processed, it is a final document, not something we're coming back in and saying, hey, you forgot to sign this, you forgot. So it just spells all that out, we'll all get on the same pay schedule, or paid timesheet, 2 week period.
Good.
Those are really your big changes. They've got some new wording, terminology in there, we've cleaned up, talking about flex time, if you're gonna use it in the same period as there is no magical bank for flex time. we added in there if you are on-call pay, so there is not a pay for on-call. Somebody says, hey, the police department says, David Lopez, you're gonna be on call, you're the on-call supervisor this weekend. There is no pay with that. All that means is that you need to be ready and within a 20-minute response back to the city if we need you. Now, if you're required to do something, if an officer calls you while you're on call, you can clock in for those hours you were handling business. If you're responding back, that you clock in. But as far as being on call, unless you're on call in the city, if we have something going on with Public Works and there's something, contractors working in the middle of the night, we're afraid they're gonna hit a line, and we wanna put a crew on call, James, I need 2 guys on call in the city on standby. They're on the clock, they're here working. But just to be on call, we have a lot of employees that are on, really, everybody in the city's on call. So we're not gonna pay for that, and I think Public Works, you see it just an hour. But if they're answering emails or they're doing something, they're gonna get paid for it. Typically now, if they're on call for a weekend, they get 3 hours of pay each day because they have to come into the city to do their rounds anyways.
So that'll cover them, like when they get calls of, hey, my water got turned off, or
They document, they clock in. for that
whoever's taking the phone.
time. Taking the phone, they can clock in for phone calls.
Okay.
You might want to comment prior, before that, how much was the on-call pay that you would get?
It's just 1 hour.
It was like, yeah, so it wasn't significant.
Yeah.
So
There's
police
no
department
change.
can have that, but it's not, and I think, to be honest with you, I haven't looked at the super finalized version. It's like any other document. 6 months from now, we may find something in there that doesn't jive with our operations, and we'll have to come back anyway. So
It's gonna be a living, breathing document. We can make adjustments to it as the council.
James, you had something?
I'm just saying, my guys they get $40 for the weekend on call.
They get an hour's worth of pay. It's automatic setup. So they would not get that pay, that hour. But they're already getting 3 hours every Saturday and Sunday because they gotta come into town and do work, do rounds or whatever. And then if they're at the house and they get a call while they're on call, they clock in. I took a 30-minute phone call talking to a resident about a water leak. I had to go back into town to check on something. From the moment they leave their house, they clock in. They're on our time, right? They're in a city vehicle. It's just, if we do the other way, where it's just, you're on call, we're gonna give you a set hour or 2 hours, we need to adjust our budget. Police don't get it, animal control doesn't get it, no other city department gets it, because we've never had that before. But by virtue, every city employee's on call. So,
As long as we can track it.
To work it.
That'll be good. As long as there's ways to track it.
Oh yeah,
so that's
they're,
good.
like I said, they're not missing out on anything. Like I said, they're still getting their pay.
Council?
So on emergencies and bad weather, I know there's a statement in there that says you can use secured vacation to compensate, I guess, for
Yes.
the bad weather.
So,
Is there any circumstance where the employee has to use vacation? Can they go unpaid?
they could go unpaid, I guess, if
Okay,
they
because
just
I didn't
have
see
short.
it. I didn't see it mentioned anywhere. So I just
No,
want
it's
to
just
make
if
sure.
they want to make up. Now, if we have a bad weather day and the council or somebody says, hey, you know what, city, it's iced over, we're closing City Hall, essential employees only, everybody will stay home. If you want to get a full paycheck, then you can use leave to make up for those 8 hours.
Right.
If you don't care about it, you don't have to use those hours. But if we go to where every time the counselor or somebody says, hey, you don't have to come into work today, it's not fair to the essential employees that did come into work. They're coming in, they're working there, like police department, there is no days off. They gotta come in and work. So we're gonna say, and I'm using PD as an example, because police department, you're in for an 8-hour shift. You're essential, we're paying you your normal rate. Animal control, you gotta come in and take care of the animals, you're gonna get paid for those hours. But all the other city employees, you stay home and we're gonna pay you. To me, that doesn't sound fair. I don't believe that's done anywhere. If you want a full paycheck, you get to use time.
So I just want to make sure it was never stated anywhere is that you're required to take vacation or you're required to take your sick time. So if I choose not to get paid and save my vacation, some companies do that for accountability, so they can use up vacation time instead of keeping it on the books. So I'm just making sure because it was never stated anywhere.
If it's
Not getting paid is an option.
correct me if I'm wrong. If it's not stated in there specifically, then you don't have to use your time, right? So if I'm a 40-hour work week and we're closed for 8 hours, I can either use 8 hours of my time or not use it and just be short on my check.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good question.
One other little thing that's just, it's on page 29 on vehicle operators. There's an acronym for DVM. I believe it should be DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. Page 29.
The city reserves the right to check the DVM, Department of
Right, that
DMV.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I see that.
And if you could, it's good to reference the acronym before you use it. It's good practice to do that.
And just spell
Not
it
that it
out,
has to be.
basically just spell it out.
Yeah.
I can just spell that.
The only other one was on page 8 on paydays. It may not mean anything, but paydays are on Fridays, but you reference the weekend as a payday. Not you, but whoever wrote this. So if a payday falls on as a weekend or holiday, it's like the second or third sentence.
We can take the weekend out. If it falls on, that's what
Yeah,
you're
because
saying,
Fridays
the
will never
weekend.
fall on the weekend.
I think they're just describing it, but yeah, if it
But
falls.
that's from prior, because we used to get paid on the 15th and the last day of the month.
Right,
That's
and
a-
that would fall on
That's
the
a leftover
weekend.
from that, sir.
Okay.
That would be.
And I think that's just kind of it's just a
Yeah, it's just,
description.
And we
if
don't
you
do
wanna
that
take that
anymore,
out.
so it wouldn't apply.
English such as a holiday.
yeah. I believe that's it. I really do, like this manual. It doesn't put everything in technical terms. It's like I'm sitting right in front of you telling you, this is
And that's
what's
how
happening.
when working with Alderman Emery, that's how it was written.
It's
more
very
of a-
nice. It's very detailed. I mean, if you have a question, it's basically there.
We spent
It's very good.
many hours, many hours trying to get it to where it wasn't written by nothing personal, a lawyer, where an average person could read it, you know?
Yes, and it does come across that way. Very nice.
And I want to give credit. I mean, our lawyers, we worked through this a lot, and they've made a lot of great suggestions along with the lady who did our HR stuff.
Yep.
We put a lot of things in there that it wasn't in our previous manuals. And there's a lot of things in here now that legal said, hey, doesn't really apply to you, but you need to have it in your book just to be on the safe side.
Well, with that, Mayor, I want to make a motion, we adopt the new employee handbook. And I guess we need to set an effective date, which is,
Whatever y'all feel comfortable with. I mean, we can go with December 1st, we can go with January 1st, we can send it out to the employees.
December 1st.
December
okay.
1st, sounds
To be
good.
set for December 1st. Thank you.
Get to the sing
We got a motion for us to go
I'll
ahead and
second
adopt?
that,
Yeah, we're
absolutely.
gonna have some employees, everybody's gonna have to get a copy of it and
I'll send it all
acknowledge
out
it before
tomorrow
December 1st.
electronically, and yeah.
That's one day for everybody, or 2 days? Okay,
We'll send it all out. I mean, we're gonna work with everyone.
okay.
They got
Okay.
the time frame to get it back to us.
So, okay, so I got a motion, got a second? Okay, discussion. So, and Richie was leading to where I wanted to ask. So one of the normal things that we like to do is to make sure that all employees got a chance and they sign something that they,
And that's part of this.
so we're gonna collect that and just give them some time
By
to
our
go.
policy, you get 2 weeks. So if a new hire comes in, they're mandated and they're covered by this
Okay.
policy manual on day one. They get up to 2 weeks to review it and send that form back to us saying, yes, I've read it, I understand it.
Okay,
But I mean, doesn't matter if you're new employees, you come in day one, this is our manual. You're governed by it. Here it is on day one, start reviewing it.
Well, my concern would be though, is if I've got an employee if it comes effective December 1st, I've got an employee on days off, doesn't come back till December 2nd, he's gonna be under a policy that he hasn't even had a chance to look at. I mean, it seems
Well,
like
what's
we
the
need to
option?
give them a little bit of time. Give
Their
them-
option is not to sign it?
is there,
So if we gave them,
And if
we
they
gave 'em
decided
2
not to
weeks-
sign it,
yeah, but if we gave them 2 weeks, they could come back and say, well, hey, you gave me 2 weeks, I didn't review it, the paper's due today, but I don't work till tomorrow, I'm not gonna review it, tomorrow I'll be on vacation. I mean, at some point, we just gotta rip the Band-Aid off and say, here it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
Matt,
2 days.
it's the same as if it's a new employee. We make it effective in, 3 days? And then everyone has 2 weeks from the effective date to read it and sign it.
Okay.
So it's just as if a new guy comes in, it's effective for him, but he's not obligated to have a signed sheet for 2
Or 2
weeks.
weeks.
But we need to get this thing signed and on the books. because it was what, 15, 20 years old before we started on it, way out of date. And we started on it, 21, it would have been like May or June 21. We need to
Been a
get this
while.
thing done.
It actually started, the first phase was in 17.
Oh, yeah, but
So
I agree, it's just one of the, we gotta rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah, we'll buy some equipment, you know, it requires hands-free use of cell phones, no texting and driving, I mean, what's state law? So we'll have to buy, some of our vehicles that don't have hands-free already installed, or already as part of the standard package, we'll buy some hands-free devices, and it governs paid employees, part-time employees, volunteers, it covers you all. So you're governed by this.
that's awesome. All right.
And I'd like to throw my 2 cents in. Matt and Richie really carried this thing along in the early stages. As he mentioned, we had all the department heads coming in, and it wasn't really possible for everybody to have some input to it. But Richie, having been here long, and Matt and Josie here, they really hammered this thing and hammered it. We worked it together. So sterling job on their part.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
led the
I
group,
was-
so
I
we
was just-
appreciate it.
Point them in the direction. They
Appreciate
did it.
That's good. It was a good team effort all the way around, you know, to get it through. So that's good. And Matt, you closed it all together and put it together for us, so we appreciate it with the help of our attorneys. So that's awesome. Okay, so any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, there we go. So we can go ahead and it's approved and it's effective 1 December. Okay, please make sure we get it out to the
I'll send
employees.
it all out first thing in the morning, via
You get
email, and
those.
then make sure I hand deliver copies.
And department heads, please talk to them and tell them that we need them to review it and sign that sheet and get it back to us so we can get it in their folders. All right, C, consider and act upon the approval of the AEP franchise agreement.
I will let legal handle that one, because they've been working on it up to the last minute today.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, there were some final comments that we had. Our utility attorneys looked at it and communicated with AEP's attorneys to resolve it. There were only 2 final items that were addressed today, dealing with clarifying any potential conflict that may arise in the future regarding state law and the ordinance, and some of the language in there made us a little uncomfortable. We wanted just to make sure that there wasn't going to be a situation where AEP would decide, oh, this doesn't comply, or there's a conflict here, we're going to do it this way. So instead, we just made it clear that if the parties think there's a problem, we'll notify each other and then try to resolve and work through those things. And the second other area had to do with assignment of the agreement. A lot of cities that are large and have a city charter, you're a general law city, so you don't have one, but will require any assignment of the agreement to go to the city council, and AEP wanted the right to assign it, and we said, no, you can't unless the city approves it, and then they then said, okay, well, what if we assign it to an affiliated entity, that kind of thing, and so, which again, is often allowed, but again, sometimes stopped if you had a charter that said, no, the city must approve those. Because cities, obviously, they want to have some, input on, if you can assign something like the general power provider or something like that, so, excuse me, so we resolved that. They will be allowed to assign it. We didn't think it was gonna be, AEP has, like a lot of utility companies, sometimes will merge and, they'll have, reorganized various subsidiaries and things like that, so some of these agreements may kind of pass around to that. So we just require that they provide the city notice under those sort of situations, but otherwise, the agreement's been pretty much the one as we revised several weeks ago. There's some back and forth, so today's the final, last little tidbit, so should be good.
And so the franchise they're paying is in accordance with, over here, whatever the right law is.
The public utility.
Texas Public Utilities Regulatory Act.
Mhm.
So they're paying us based on those standards. And when this started, I went back to see if AEP was even paying us a franchise, because we haven't had a franchise signed with them, and talking to their rep for quite a while. They were paying us a franchise based off of that rate. So it's what we're used to getting already anyways. I know there's some hold up in years past on it. I don't remember all those details, but like I said, for a number of years, we've not had a franchise with them, and now we get one.
We needed to get this taken care of without a doubt. So
Right, so the agreement's just basically almost memorializing what the city and AEP have been doing for a little while yet. So we were just documenting it. And so there were some little small legal details to get
So
resolved.
you're happy with it legally?
Yes, overall it's fine.
So Jesse, so it still needs to come back to us, right?
No, this would be it. So if you approve it, we go ahead and approve the ordinance, and the ordinance includes the franchise agreement itself.
Okay, so we can take action tonight then,
Yes,
go
you
ahead
can.
and approve it, okay?
Yes.
Matt, are you happy with what lawyers have provided for us?
Yes, sir.
And what age?
This is the first one I've ever really looked at, and it goes, I mean, really, their legal expertise is gonna be far better than mine looking at it. My research was, hey, were we getting something better before or not? And we were getting what they're,
Okay.
based off of what
Yeah,
I could see.
but the main thing is we needed to get this done, we haven't,
Your recommendation is to,
My recommendation
along
is to
with
approve the draft
legal
that
appro-
both their attorneys and our attorneys have agreed upon.
I'll make the motion.
Yep.
Mayor, I move that we act upon approval of the AP franchise agreement tonight.
okay? Got a motion on the floor? Can I get a second? Got a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Being able to take care of that. So Matt, thank you for the extra, and Jesse for the push too. So we can go ahead and get this taken care of. All right, let's move on to D, discuss and consider possible action on pet adoption program. Santi, come on up. Come on up. And Matt, if you want to contribute on this.
Yes, sir, I'll
or
stand by.
anything, that'll be good. So Santi, a while back we had actually talked about the opportunity for us to go ahead and do some sort of adoption. We threw some ideas out there along with maybe getting the services of Richie
Yes.
to be able to post a picture and be able to go down that road.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we have Allies. Allies does it for us too. They post it up on their Facebook page as well. And we had a few people come in from seeing that on Facebook as well. And, someone said they saw it in the paper. I don't know if it was in the paper or not.
is there any reason why we can't send it out with Richie's Weekly?
No reason. When is it weekly or is it quarterly? How does it do it?
Usually every Monday morning.
Weekly.
Every Monday morning? Okay.
I mean, if I had something, I guess what we talked about in our, some sort of meeting we had, was doing a pet of the month.
Yeah.
And one option was me throw something out there in my deal every week. You know, have the sign, maybe do something every week, you know, to keep it fresh and in the forefront.
Yeah, I'll get with Nana, cause Nana, Maria, she's good at that. Coming up with writing something up about a dog, I get with her, and then email it to Richie. Like Friday, or when do you want it? Wednesday or?
We can do it Friday and I can have it, or, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter, but Friday, whatever. That'd just be one prong of whatever we decide to do, but it's something
And
I could.
do that every week, or keep that same animal for like a whole month, or how?
If I could, so Counselor, here's my vision. We obviously still have an animal number issue as far as the number of animals we have out there. We just can't move them. We're full, adoption agencies are full, so it's hard for us to move the numbers, so we need to have room. The only other way is to start trying to adopt these animals out. So we need to do something. Our adoption program, from what I've seen, has not been very active. We don't really have anything on our website, on the animal control side, nor we're posting anything or pushing it on our side, on our sign. So I'd like to get a more aggressive adoption program going so we can adopt some of these animals out. We need to work with Santi and look at our current adoption policies or application to make sure we're not too stringent, right? I mean, we gotta understand where we live and that not everybody's gonna keep their dogs inside in air conditioned, you know, kind of thing. But maybe look at things like, hey, spay neuter mandatory. I think that's a great idea. We don't want to add to the population, especially if you're adopting animals.
Yeah, it's
So
already.
we can cover those.
We went mandatory in 2013, so every animal needs to get spayed neutered
Perfect.
before it goes. And I don't think I did it on my
Slides.
my slides, but we did have 3 adoptions this past month in October. We had 2 dogs go together, had 2 cats get adopted, and one was here in town, the other one came 2 hours away to adopt these dogs that we had here.
And that's the more we can do, not only locally, but on social media. The chief's emails get seen by, I mean, the more of these animals we can get back to the homes they need to be in. That way we don't have to make tough decisions for these animals. That's my ultimate goal. Let's keep every animal in a happy home or a happy place.
I'll wait for your brief, Santi, but we're still above 20.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
So-
I guess we can get animals out, and they come right in. I have a picture and a video to show y'all when I do my slides of what happens out there when no one's there.
I'm with you, Santi, but it's easier for us to adjust if you're down in 20 and you have pets being dropped off versus being at 30, 40 and you get more. It's harder for you to be able to...
Our numbers do go down. Like we'll be down like at 25, but like I said, we get animals come in. Like we had 3 dogs, 3 puppies come in one day saying they found them here in the city.
Yeah.
Can we prove they found them in the city? No. And I have to take them, and they don't belong to them, so we can't make them pay their surrender fee. Can we?
Well, I think unfortunately sometimes we're probably too lenient on things. If somebody comes out there, and I'm not there, I'm just thinking from the outside looking in, right? But if I know, hey, I want to get rid of these dogs, I take them to the animal control and Lytle say, I found these wandering in the street, they're just going to take them, no questions asked. That's a pretty simple project. Whereas if we said, okay, where did you find them? Let me get your information. We're going to do some research. If we discover that these are really your animals, there could be an issue or something. You know, we need to probably make it a little harder.
That's what we tell them, and they're like, okay, like they don't care. Like they can say they found it in the parking lot, in the Bell's parking lot. There's no cameras out there we can go look at, or HEB, or no one really goes to look at the cameras. And if we try to look at the cameras, it'll be like a long process. And
my only thing is if we don't do something, we're being overrun. And if we don't start doing something or being more aggressive on how we move our animals out to better homes, we may have to make tougher decisions to keep that place sanitary and controllable and cost effective. I mean, at some point, we got to do something.
And Santi, you guys, you guys do what that facility is built. Yeah, I've seen you take I think his name is Daniel, the black the dog
Yeah.
that you guys took in, very malnutrition. You guys took care of him, brought him up. Okay, now is at a point where we can actually find, that's what it's all about, right? We take care of them, and then we find them a home for them to be able to go to. But we just need to make sure that we got to get our numbers down to a point where we're actually a little bit easier for you, for the staff, for the resources that are part of that. Just because that facility is not built to be able to have that many animals.
yeah,
And it's not fair for the animals, and it's not fair for you guys. So we got to figure out a way where we can actually leverage a little bit more. Adoption is one of them. We got to have a little bit more flexibility, and we got to be able to work to be able to get these pets, these dogs, these cats to homes out there and do a better job on taking care of that. And let's leverage. I will send it out. I don't mind, but I need to get the information. But Richie has a great audience out there too to be able to get, highlight the pet or the month or the week.
I think just do, on my page, just do it one every week.
one every week.
That
Yeah.
way, if people know it's the same one, they're gonna be less likely to go to it. Just every week's gonna be something different.
And we can post on the board here. I would love to have an event, an adoption event. We pick a day, a Saturday at the animal shelter. We're doing an adoption event from 8 to 5. That 8 to noon, whatever. I mean, we've already got staff there for a full day. We're paying them. Let's hold an adoption event and let's try to see how many people will come out and adopt the animals. Maybe it's a low cost. Maybe it's a free. I don't know. When we're overrun with dogs, our costs can go down on what we adopt them for, right? So we can find them better homes.
What's the adoption fee?
For a dog, it's $150. With spay, neuter, microchip, and everything, because it's like $115 to get them done at the veterinary clinic.
Yeah.
And then the cost is going. I'm not sure what the cost is because we haven't used the vine yet because they're kind of backed up. So the cost could have gone up. I'm not too sure. I'll have to get with them to see.
Yeah, you got to get your money back.
Well, we can do for the normal stuff, we can keep at a normal level of adoption. But we're talking about being able to do it. Like Matt was mentioning about an event, and those, if we kind of have an idea, we can figure out funding from other sources where we can make it, hey, it's half price or something, right?
And that's what with these adoptions that we had recently, I went $45 to adopt a cat, and
There you go.
on those 2 dogs, I went $75 each, so it was like $150 for the dogs, and I try to work with the people just to get them out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we want to be able to use leverage on the opportunity to highlight, because we got to get our numbers down. and be able to get them down to the 20s. You know, the closer you get to the 20, the more you have flexibility in case you have an influx of animals that get dropped off or something does happen. Okay, so it'll be good.
Yeah. So yeah, with the people saying they found them in the city, what do we do about that? Because people in San Antonio, when they go to Human Society, they, even though it's not their dog, they make them pay a surrender fee.
Yeah, that's
If
what
they
I was
want to
wondering.
surrender. So I need to do something to, because it's costing us when we take the dog in for the shots and everything that we do for it. So
So
I
you're
don't
saying
know.
anybody can come in and say they found it in the city,
That's
or
what people. That's what people.
Lytle
do.
citizens are coming in? and
Anybody.
saying-
Doesn't matter citizen, Joe Blow from
Yeah.
Laredo's passing through, I happen to stop at your HEB and look,
Yeah.
I found these two really nice, well-nourished dogs running around and I wanna release them to you.
We
know those
have
aren't
people here in the city that live here that take in dogs from their relatives outside the city so we can take them, but we can't prove it. But I know they do it because I can.
If that, so my opinion is if every other agency doesn't do that, why are we? Why are we taking them for free? Because you know what that means? We just get them all from every town around us. You know, if every other organization that Santi's talking about charges a surrender fee, maybe it's not, I don't know. We gotta do something to help curb that issue. But if I know I can take them to Lytle and it's not gonna cost me anything and there's no questions asked, guess where I'm taking my dogs to?
I hate saying this because I probably kick myself for it, but the option, if you've got a big problem, is you make the people come to the police and file a report that they found the animals in the city. Then potentially, I don't know if that was not really a crime, it would be a false report, but potentially that's gonna basically make a big difference because they're not gonna wanna come and report that.
And
That would be something I'm throwing out there.
And I've had someone come up to the facility and get mad because I wouldn't take the dogs, and he was gonna like assault me, but I told him to back off, and then he just got the girl was telling him to get out of here, so he took off. So yeah,
So why don't we do this? Because the only thing we can take action is on the pet adoption program. So why don't we do this? It sounds like there's avenues there. The city administrator has flexibility to be able to iron out. So if there's something that the police can help out, if you guys can iron that out, that would be great.
We'll work on it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or
and
not
that way we can help you with the surrenders and maybe have a different venue to be able to take care of that issue.
Probably wish I never said it, but.
So,
You'll be
Hey.
honest, it's your guys.
I think that's the best idea, what you said though.
A person who legitimately has a problem will not,
You're scared to come see
yes.
them.
So if you get a person that says, they go to a church, they say, I broke down and I need some money, and you say, the church tells them, you know what, before we help people or deal with cash, we wanna get the police over and get them involved, so we make sure everything's on the up and up. So that about there will knock out about 90% of those people, they'll walk on. So this, I think, would do, because there are I do live here, I have commercial property over here. There are loose dogs that run around, and people do pick dogs up at HEB. You know, my mom's a dog lover, and when there's stray dogs in her, she's gonna call and say, there's dogs over here at O'Reilly's, there's dogs in front of my buildings, you know? So, but maybe we can help, we'll get with Matt and them and.
That's the other thing that I find strange is that somebody delivers it
Yeah.
to the front door, but if we required the city to go out and pick up the animal and we find that the dog's sitting there on the porch because he lives there, I mean, it's kinda obvious,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I had this one lady, she, Oak City Road, back of her corner properties in the city, not the front part. She said there was a stray dog that had been hanging around, so I got the dog, scanned it, microchip, came back to the adoption agency that came out, so I took it back to them. Came back the next morning, there's a car there, lady crying for her dog. Her mom lied, it was the daughter's dog, the mom didn't want the dog there, so.
The city has to,
And we've turned a few away. If something told me, I know this isn't
I think that's a good idea, what Priest
I'll work with
and
the
you were
chief on
saying.
that and we'll get that accomplished.
That
So
can
let's
come in.
I'll work with Santi on a pet adoption program and we'll get something rolled out in the next couple of weeks.
As far as the pet adoption, I think Sante, you probably are the best person to know what dog or what animal to highlight,
Mhm.
to put onto the page or to put on the front. Because you also know if you get requests for that animal, you don't need to put them up the next week, right? So I think you're probably the best person to do that.
Yep, I'll work with Richie and
Yeah.
We'll get it done.
And just
We'll get it on
keep the numbers going down, Santi,
Yeah.
okay? And just work with Matt and let's figure out a way. We gotta have a little bit more flexibility to find homes for these dogs and cats, okay?
Okay.
That'll be good. Council? Anything on this one? Just,
Since they're gonna take care of it, I move that we take no action at this point, allow
Okay.
the parties involved to work this out and report back to us.
Yes, sir.
okay, got a motion on the floor for no action?
I'll second
Okay, got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
it. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, appreciate it. All right, moving on, E, consider an act upon the cancellation of the second regular council meeting in December and allow bills to be paid.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor.
Go ahead.
This is a normal practice in the city when we have, come December, it's normally not that busy. So we normally cancel that second meeting and allow finance to pay normal bills. If there's anything crazy that comes in, then we need to put a hold on that, just hold it. So that's what I would ask
We've been doing it for several years now.
for as long as I work, yes.
And this happens to be the Monday, the 26th, right after Christmas, so, yeah, so it's,
You were saying to hold?
No, if we had any bill that we identified as, hey, this isn't a normal bill we get,
we would
or
wait till
something
next
normal
meeting.
that we have a question on, then we can pay on normal bills, like fuel bills, stuff like that.
Right.
But if
Is
it's
that
something that
really-
came in that we're just like, hey, what is this? We're not sure, that we need to bring that back before council at the January meeting.
Because I believe in one of our council meetings, we gave you the authority to go ahead and pay bills and then just present them at the next possible meeting.
That's correct.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
this
what you're
just-
saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Our next meeting after that would be on the 9th of January. That'd be the next one. So, council?
I'll make that motion, that we cancel the second, regular meeting, December.
Okay,
Allow the bills to be paid.
okay, got a motion on the floor? Got a second? From Joseph? Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Jesse's smiling. He'll get paid. He won't have to wait.
I think Jesse gets paid no matter what. Where
He'll be happy. Okay, F, update on the transfer files from previous city attorney.
So
Matt.
council, I'm still working on getting the initial meeting set up. This is the ball's in our court. I'm trying to work with legal, and it is the one that works for, what is it? Austin Beck. I can't remember his name for some reason. I'm trying to coordinate some dates with Austin on when we can go to the previous city attorney's location and go through files. In talking with legal, we think that it would be the best course of action for the initial trip that legal go with us. We look at how they have everything organized, and then from there, I'll be able to go by myself and recover files that we need as I deem necessary. So once I can get those prospective dates back from Austin, I haven't heard back from him. I sent him an email last week. Once I get those dates, I can shoot them to our previous city attorney. I will tell you, he's already told me he's going to be in and out a bunch with traveling for all of December, but he'll work with us the best he can. So as soon as I get that date scheduled, we'll get over there as soon as we can and start on that. Then once it's just myself and the previous city attorney, that'll make it a whole lot easier because we can actually set, hey, every Tuesday at 3, I'm going to come over and we'll spend an hour or two going through files. But we're now trying to coordinate 3 people's time, and it makes it a little more difficult. But I'm still working on it. I've got an email off to Austin and waiting to hear back from him.
Okay. So the reason that you're going over is just to kind of make
The
an
initial
assessment?
trip is going to be for the attorney to look through the file, kind of see how they're organized, and then we can start to identify items we need. We'll bring some back that day, I'm sure. We'll find stuff that we need that day. But really, it's going to be legal's term or time to go over there and go through it cursory-wise and say, okay, Matt, important, not as important. Let's start to identify. We can make a list, and I can go back over there, and we can say, this is what we need, these items. At that point, our previous city attorney can look through them, make copies if he still needs them, and then get us what we've requested. There's some items we've already discussed that we think we need already, that we think he might have a more updated version, or he's got a version of it, and we'll see once we go there.
Yep.
That's right, we communicated with former city attorney, and that was sort of the issue in terms of like, it's such a large volume of files, and we already have a sense of what the council's directions, or the priority of what kinds of documents you want to get to first, but we'll probably have to go there initially, just sort of assess how it's arranged and what we can do. But it just makes sense to have the attorney there all the time because that would get very expensive very quickly. So the thinking was to initially kind of go and kind of begin triaging it a little bit, figure out where the big chunks are, and then have Matt and the staff begin going through that. And we can continue working with them as needed. But that'll be a little bit cheaper. But to initially get sort of Austin and Matt in there to kind of go through and get a sense of the lay of the land and begin working.
We had a date picked out, it just didn't, in the end of it, it didn't work out, the date had to change, and then that messed everybody's schedules up there.
So the priority, this happened in May. So we're getting close to a year. So we need to take care of business.
Okay.
I'll reach
So,
out to Austin again tomorrow, I'll call him and see what he's got going on.
okay. So let's figure out a way to make sure, especially with those files that we need access to, that we need to, because we got some open items that we need to take care of. We need to figure this out. Okay. That'll be good. This is just an update, so don't, council, anything? All right. Appreciate that. Thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir.
All right. 8, executive session. Is there anything, Jesse, that we need to go into executive session on that?
No update, Mayor, that there's been no change.
Okay, thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to department heads. And get an opportunity. Last month, we actually had to cancel the meeting, so we didn't get a chance to get our updates. So this is going to be a good way to catch up on what's going on and get us information. So we'll go ahead and start with 9 department head, animal control director's report. Santi, all yours.
I turned the mouse to off, so you should see the issue.
Okay, month of October. We had 89 calls for service, we transferred 28 animals, we took in 15. Animal count went, 38 dogs and 23 cats. We had 10 cats go to Texas Humane Heroes, 3 to Humane Society, and then 10 cats to Rescue Pet Movements, 5 dogs to SNP. We had 7 volunteers, total of 23 hours. Still trying to figure that out, what the balances are and stuff in that.
Okay. Get with Lynette. Okay. She's got all that info.
Can we figure that out yet or no? Well,
Hey, I thought I saw an email when she sent.
yeah, but for the, I'll
forward
update
on
it.
it.
No, it's just the numbers you have, but we can't verify that.
Yeah, so it's different from what,
Right.
how Josie did it from the balances, so it's.
Figure it out, and let's just go ahead and stay on the same, because we have things lined up in a better way now.
Okay.
So that way we can have our numbers match up. Okay?
Like I said, I had 4, but we had 3, so we had 7 adopted, and total transferred to rescues 243. We had Bella's Pantry in October. We had 102 pet owners, total of 76 cars come through. And that's it. But I'm gonna show y'all. And this was about at 9 o'clock at night, and luckily one of my ACOs, I think it was Rachel or Melinda, went back up to check something and noticed there was a kennel out there with a cat inside of it.
Hey Santi, you guys actually, even this weekend, you guys responded. There was somebody that
Yeah, that was, I don't know, Richard was on the call it Mission Impossible.
yeah.
The video.
Which one was that?
Lady with a dog in the car.
Yeah.
Um,
So you guys took care of the pet. Okay.
This is about 9 o'clock at night. If you look, it'll be on the road here in a bit. You'll see the car come up. They don't pull into my parking lot. They park on the highway right there on 2790 right there. They're stopping. So we don't get the description of the vehicle or license plate number because they know we have cameras. So they get out and he runs into through the yard and tosses the carrier there. He's fully covered, blue bandana over his face, cap, so you can't see his face or anything. That car takes off to do a turnaround to come back and pick him up.
Been easier to hit a liquor store than do that.
So he's running, carrying the kennel. Just sits down, runs back, and the car comes back, picks him up, doesn't drive back to our facility. They turn around and go back down. So that's what we deal with on a daily basis. So
Did that get reported to the police?
no, but
Okay.
there's no way we can
Okay, no,
get a plate
here's
number.
what I'm gonna ask. When we have cases like that, we report it to the police. Let's get pictures out on social media, just like every other crime scene, right? Let's put it out across our social media, the chief's page. Do you know this person? Can you identify him? We're investigating an animal cruelty case.
Well, here's the other issue. I got two comments on this. One, I'm glad those people, as much as I can, I'm glad they did that as opposed to throwing them in a creek somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that's
So I wanna make that comment, but secondly, I wanna say this. If you report that to us, even though we may never find out who that guy is, if we don't know people are doing this, our officers on patrol are not gonna be looking for that type of activity. If we know it's happening, then they can be looking for it, and at a certain point in time, we will catch someone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
it
the
said
issue.
we can post it, but most of the time you get negative comments.
Well, yes.
What you just said.
Exactly.
Instead of
But
throwing it in a ditch.
But there's nothing wrong with reporting everything to the police, and that way our officers will know. We had 3 reports of animals being abandoned last week.
Mhm.
So then the officers know when they're driving by the animal shelter to be looking. Otherwise, if we don't know that's happening, I'm not gonna be looking for it. The squeaky wheel gets the,
Grease.
whatever it needs.
No, this is, I mean, this
Yeah.
is.
Can one of the two of you explain the illegalities of that, please?
So basically abandoning an animal is, falls under animal cruelty, I believe. You know, I'm not gonna quote it right now, but you can't abandon an animal, you know, just throw it out there and assume that somebody's gonna care for it, you know. Now, of course, it is an animal control facility, and again, this is a very challenging deal, because if animal lover is gonna say yay to that person, because they could have thrown it in a creek and thrown a brick in there and drowned them, you know, so it is a very challenging deal, but on the city side, we've gotta operate with taxpayer funds. So there is these people can be charged with a crime. Now, you know, will the particular prosecutors accept those charges, and that's a whole nother story, but we can, it does meet the elements of a
Santi,
crime.
is there anywhere in San Antonio or in the metro where people can go drop off? Is there anybody in San Antonio that we might be able to highlight and say, hey, if you have a pet that you can't take care of financially or for other reasons, this is where you take them, where we can also publicize that information?
It's just rescues that pretty much rescues is who mainly take the animals. Other places, like there's other animal controls that can take the animals, so that's what they resort to. But it's hard because rescues are full too as well, and they have to turn away the people.
So, and the reason I ask is, as we get the opportunity to highlight, you know, what's going on, it's also offering an option. If there is a place where they can legally do that in San Antonio, let's pass that information out. You know, we work in 2 different things, but just, you know, Skip works real closely with people trying to get rid of stuff. And they want to get rid of it. Well, you can't get rid of it here, right? But hey, if you take it to San Antonio, this is a place, you know. So there might be other options for them to get rid of their stuff.
And that we do when someone calls us, that of course not from our area, and we try to refer them to rescues too. We give them a rescue to look up and give them numbers. We can give you food just to get by until you can find someone to take the animal, but we do refer them to other rescues to see if they can take them.
But if you have the information, you know, get it to us and we can push it out for you. And that way we tell folks, hey, if for some reason you have to, this is the appropriate place for you to go take, and they'll be taken care of. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't know, and if you give them an option where it's open and there's not going to be any questions asked or anything, they probably feel a lot more comfortable than driving into 2790 and then.
And like I said, yeah, we do try to give them as much information as we can to other rescues that can possibly take it, or if they, I go, they might have more information, more outlets they can give you than me, like other rescues they can put it out in an email to them and stuff like that. But we do try to give information, much information to people who try to need to find homes
Yeah.
for their dog that they can't keep.
Just use us for that too.
Yeah.
We can help out with some of this and stuff. But I know it's hard. I mean, just for me to give up, just thinking of dropping Dexter somewhere. I mean, that's hard. I mean, he's
Like,
become
a couple
part of the
years back.
family, and that's just difficult for
Like a
me.
couple years back before we had cameras, when people were throwing the dogs over the fence and one of the dogs ended up dying, and of course you put that on the news, and then of course you got all this backlash, but yeah.
There will always be, but if you do things for the right reasons, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, you can't go wrong. So there'll be a little bit.
So
But
the
no,
animal in this case was in good health?
Yes.
I don't see why they did this, and I'm trying to figure it out. They went through the expense of having the carrier.
Yeah.
I mean, because the city doesn't ask questions.
Yeah.
They'll accept them during the day.
And I talk to them, I try to grill them as much as I can, but then I don't want them coming up to City Hall and making complaint against me. But I try to get as much information out as I can, saying, okay, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go look at cameras. I try everything to kind of get it out of them, to tell me the truth, but they don't.
no, thanks for sharing this. Council?
I have one other question. How's the mobile phone working? Is it used strictly for after hours or
After
on
hours,
call?
but they rarely call it. They call my cell phone, and that's fine. I answered that. I got a call like at 10 from Asheville's dispatch about Mr. Hansen had pulled somebody over and about to pick up a dog.
So is
we
that
took care
cell
of
phone following the after hours person or the person
Yes,
on call?
yeah, the person on call. Yes.
On call, okay.
So we need to call our dispatch and make sure they've gotten that cell phone number versus yours. And I don't know why our officer would be having our dispatch, why he wouldn't.
Yeah, no, yeah, they call myself too, the officer.
Yeah,
But it doesn't bother me.
the number doesn't need to be published, but if it could be attached to the dispatch for them to call.
Their on-call cell phone number is published on their website. That's
Oh,
what
it
it's
is?
for.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It is on call.
Okay.
If you got an issue, that's the number you call.
Great.
Get an animal control officer.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Santi.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. All right, Cassandra. Library.
Alright, I was gonna say it's a good move. Okay, for October, this was a guess of how many actual users because there was an update problem with our software and I have to call and find out what happened because it kept telling me error, and then I'm like, oh, it's the software. Only one of the computers was updated, which is the main computer that controls all the other computers. And so I have to talk to the company and see if they can get me the numbers because all the other computers now have to be updated as well. We had about 50 kids use the kids' computers. Our checkouts were 1,218. And this is something new. It's called Simply E. It's ebooks. We now offer ebooks to the public. It's actually a free service because the state library offers this program. And we just had to sign a contract with them, and I had sent it over to Matt, and he said, look good, so we signed it, sent it, and we actually had 4 users and 19 loans for the last week of October, which is really good because I'm like, wow, we only told a few people, and all of a sudden everybody, we had that.
Can we add this to our newsletter and then?
Actually, I have a few of these I can bring up.
If you'll give me one, because I'm typing up our newsletter now.
Yeah.
Add it in our newsletter.
Let's put it out there and then.
As long as they have a library card with us, all they have to do is download the app
Do you have that digital also?
Yeah, we have
I can take a photo, because we can send it out.
How does that work? Is it given a limited password that only allows the ebook to be used
They can use it for 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks?
Yes, so
And then
it's like
they're
a
no longer
traditional-
able to access?
So
That's
you can
pretty
get
good.
on a wait list with it, and here, I'll give you this one. It's backwards.
Thank you.
And it shows you how to access it. Basically, you're gonna go in and download the app on your device, and then you find our library. You can browse the catalog. Once you browsed it, you select the book that you want, as long as it's available, and then sign in with your library card number and whatever your password is.
That's good.
And then they can access it.
So they'll still need to come and get a library
If they
card.
don't already have a library card, they'll have to come and get a card with us.
Okay.
But this is for, whoever else needs it.
That's
And
cool.
We had a lot of people that have been requesting this, but
And
when I
one other
tried-
question,
Sure.
sorry to interrupt. That each ebook, is it allowed just to be printed out once?
I
Or
think you can-
some of them have like 2 licenses or 3?
This one has, I think it has the multiple licenses on this one,
Okay.
because I know with.
Just curious.
Other, like Overdrive,
Right.
it's only.
Yeah, it's only one.
It's only
And
one.
it could be out
You
for
have to
months.
wait.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's one of the reasons we didn't go towards that.
Well,
because
kudos, that's
it
nice,
was
I like
just
that.
too much, so,
Well,
So-
thank you, that's very nice.
You mentioned devices. What kind of device? A computer
you can
or
use
a
a
cell phone?
Your cell phone, you can use a laptop, I think an iPad, tablet.
But not Kindle or Nook?
Kindle is the only one that it does not recognize, that they won't work with.
Does it work with Nook? Barnes and Noble
Not
Nook?
sure about the Nook, but I know Kindle was one of the ones that was not,
Okay.
you couldn't use it. You can use all the other ones, but Kindle was the only one that could use.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we had 4 new library cards. In October, 22 renewals and 10 April, May 10 library cards. We make our own library cards easier, because if we try to buy those plastic ones, then they lose it, then you have to reissue. It's just a pain. It's easier to renew. And we brought the craft night back. We had one during the week of Thanksgiving. We had 3 craft nights, and then we also showed a movie to the kids. And we're still working on those sections, so hopefully we still have adult nonfiction to finish off, and I believe young adult graphic novels. And still offering the curbside. During the month of October, we also had guess the pumpkin weight. I think it was like 16.6. I'm not sure. This lady got it 16.4. I said, you got it. You were the closest. And then candy corn was 339, I think. A little girl gets 330.
That's pretty good.
And this
Oh,
was
there
our
we go.
pumpkin decorating contest. The winner was the one on the left, the pigeon. That came in first. And then the second was the Lorax, which is on the bottom with the orange and the yellow.
Mhm.
That he had a double side. And then third place, actually tied with 2 different ones. The top one with the elephant and the piggy, that's actually a dual pumpkin. It had 2 sides. And then the one on the bottom that had 2 heads. And then I think the pink one came in fourth, if I'm not mistaken. And then the top 3 are the ones that the staff did. So we did the Sanderson sisters. These are our library displays. We had a horror for Halloween, and then of course the Halloween in the front, and then another Halloween on the side. And then that top right wasn't supposed to be in here. It was supposed to be in next month's. It was for Veterans Day. And then the bottom one was for Santis. It was adopt a dog. I think it was adopt a shelter dog. We put a display on up front. And we're still working with the sales panels, finish the grant, and I hadn't had time to order the supplies yet, but now I'll get to ordering. So that's about it. Does anybody have questions?
How's the facility? Roof awesome.
Yes, roof's good.
AC working.
AC works a lot better, but we had the heater on this last time.
Oh, good. Good. All right, council. All right, thank you. All right, Super Skip. Here you go.
Okay, this past month, I picked up debris and bulky waste at 31 locations and disposed of it. There were 22 locations that put out brush early. I gave them warnings and advised them of the correct times to put out the brush. And due to the weather and the slow growing season, there's only 8 locations that were maintained, mowed, weed eating, stuff like that in the city. Checked on 14 permits checked on the progress of the permits and how they were doing things. And I don't know if it's due to the water that we received through the rain or what, but I was only able to catch 4 people watering outside of the parameters of stage 3 restrictions this past month. One, things aren't growing, people that are conserving water because of the rain and the cold. In that sense, it's been a slow month as far as properties, growth, and the watering.
I think we might have, I've been noticing a few places, people putting out for bulk pickup.
Yeah.
You've been seeing that too?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So you stop by and talk to them and let them know the months that they're...
This week, at a lot of these places I just picked up, but I do stop by there and drop off to, I've got to change my literature because a lot of people aren't home when I go by. And I'll leave them a note, a little door tag, that bulky waste is not picked up except for quarterly now. And I'm gonna start doing that.
I think January, April...
January, April, July, and October.
Yeah.
It's on our website as well as the flyers too.
Yeah, so let's
And
go
a
ahead
newsletter going
and
out.
it's going to be on the same, right? It'll be the last,
Yeah, still the fourth
the
Monday?
4th, yeah.
Yeah, fourth
For
Monday
Monday.
of the month. It's just those 4 quarterly, and then we'll sprinkle in some bulky pickup like we do with the Keep Lytle Beautiful.
Yeah.
In between those, I think,
Yeah.
and then hopefully there's going to be a learning curve, right? We just went from something we've done for years. We'll probably have a couple, 2-3 months where they're still putting it out, and it's just education.
But Skip, please make sure if you're going to put stuff out, please put the months now. So they will have the latest and greatest.
Right.
So they'll know which month they got to wait to.
Where I have a problem right now is people putting furniture out. Now, some furniture gets taken. People see it, say, yeah, I'd like to have that, and they'll take it. But most of it, mattresses, ratty couches and chairs, there's several places out there already that people have put out this type of furniture. And I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I can't pick it up myself. Really don't have a place for the furniture out at the sewer plant to take care of it by burning or whatever, crushing it down. All I can do is leave a note to the people. And the ones that I've talked to with these items out say, well, I'm putting it out there and hoping somebody will get it. So I'm kind of stuck. And I've got to put up with this. I should put up with this for 3 months, which is going to be a problem out there.
So we got a month until we get our no, I'm sorry, yeah, 2 months. I think now it's just we need to educate them, let them know what's going on. If they say, hey, we're leaving it out, we hope somebody's going to pick it up, we tell them, hey, okay, give you a week, right? Or give you a week. If nobody's picked it up within a week, you need to pull it back in your house and wait till our bulky pickup, or find another way to dispose of it.
Yeah.
We like I told Skip before, if we just go fix it for them, we become their default to disposal, and they just do it again and again. You know, it's a change. It's an education, no different than me at my house. If my trash will be changing because they sold. So I got to figure out how the new company wants to do it. So there's going to be a time there when I may have to change what I do. So education, will work with them.
I have been getting some calls of people saying that there was pre-made storage being moved into the city. So I asked them to call City Hall because there is a permitting, right? Before they bring something in to go ahead and do that. So I encourage them to call over here. But kind of keep an eye on that. You know, some people are asking and some people are saying, hey, my neighbor brought this in and never told us, da 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 da. So keep a close eye. I've been getting a lot of phone calls about storage sheds being moved in. So, and they just...
And there has been a few moved in that did get permits.
Yeah.
A couple that didn't. And
Yeah.
Totally go get a permit.
Yep. And it's okay. I mean, just follow the process, right? And we want to make sure that they're not placed in a place where it's an easement or anything. You know, that's the reason why we go through the permitting, just to make sure that they're putting it in the right location. So.
Yeah, I had one the previous month that put it right along the fence line and the drip line of the shed or outbuilding, was directly into the neighbor's patio. It's been taken care of since then, but,
Yeah, that was one I got a phone call on.
I figured you probably did.
Yeah. So,
Just so the council's aware, in our new permitting software that we're gonna be going through, we'll be training in December, Skip gets looped in on every permit now. Every single permit we do, it's gonna be his job to now go look at those setbacks and help us. Because not everything goes to our engineers, right, because it's not big commercial MVPs. But if you're building a home, it's gonna show us what those setbacks are, and that's where Skip's gonna come in and say, okay, yeah, these setbacks look good, he's good to go as well. So we're gonna do more of these checks and balances along the way in the new software.
Yeah, that's some of the things I check now when I come in.
Exactly, yeah. It's things he does now, it's just now we're gonna have, before we issue a building permit, there's gonna be check boxes. Done by permit, done by fire marshal, not required fire marshal, whatever, and then.
that'll be good. Do you need help with anything, Skip?
No. No.
I see you cruising the new automobile now, huh?
Yeah.
Styling and profiling in the OPD car, so that's good.
It's good.
That's good?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. Thanks for everything you do.
You betcha.
Thanks, Skip.
Any questions?
Kelsey? All right, Public Works, James.
Good evening, everyone. Well, we had our traditional Thursday 8-inch main break. We didn't miss it this year.
But we figured out something. Richie, you and Danny cannot be on shift anymore.
I just came in for an hour to do that turkey deal.
That's the curse, James. There you go.
We have found, like, Danny and I have worked on holidays in the last 20 years and been there with like 5 or 6 leaks that we can, it's terrible.
So we got to send one of them away, James, so you can get some rest.
My
She's got
guys,
to scroll through it for you, James.
my guys all skipped out, so I got stuck. Okay, and here in October, we had a total of 178 work orders. New meters, we put in 1, main breaks 2. We replaced 37 meters, most of them are radio reads. Were replaced with a radio read meter. Replaced 2 service lines, and repaired 1 service line leak. Which one?
No, you brought us a PDF, so she's gonna have to scroll through it for you. That a PowerPoint, so
Okay.
she'll scroll down. Just tell her to move.
Okay. On the sewer, we had 4 that belonged to the customer, and no, 4 customers leaks, and then 1 sewer stoppage for the on the customer side. And on our miscellaneous locates, did 39 locates, reread H2O and gas meter 72. Finals on gas and water, we had 23. News, we had 26. And on cutoff list, we only had 1. And reconnections, we had a total of 18. Miscellaneous work orders, there was 12. And that's our graph chart on the work orders.
Reads.
Okay, on the man hours, we spent 16 installing water, 186 on water maintenance, 16 on sewer maintenance, 116 on sewer plant maintenance, 67 hours meter reading, 144 on rereads, and no asphalt or base work. Okay, on locates, there was 42 man hours, burning brush 48, miscellaneous 67, for a total of 702 hours. And that's the chart on our man hours. There it is. Okay, water usage. We have a total of 785 acre feet. Our reduction is 174.1 acre feet, and the new authorized amount after reduction is 610.9 acre feet. The total amount we pumped this year is 477.36 acre feet.
Okay, go back to that. So the 610, that's from calendar year. So that's till the end of December?
Yes, from what I can gather from Edwards, it's a calendar year. And
Okay.
that 174 is based on the different stages of reduction. So they've got a calculator on their website you can use. So it had so many days in stage 1, which is only a 10% reduction, and then you can estimate on theirs. I think that's without the estimation. But you can estimate, hey, if we stick the rest of this year, which is however many days, in stage 3, then it would lower that 610 a little more. But in looking at it, I think this month helped us. What James showed me we pumped for this month is going to be a lot less than what we've done every other month. So this rain's been helping in the cold months.
How much per month do we pump?
We pump between about 45 acre feet.
45? Okay.
45. If you look at we have 785, and the 174 is what they reduced from our 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Now they go by days. They don't go by months. You know, when it starts and when it finishes, and they figure that percentage, and that's how that works. And apparently we pumped 477. So I imagine we got this. If you take the 610 minus 477 is our balance.
To get us through the next month.
For the 2 months for November and
November,
December.
Yeah, so we're doing, even with the restrictions, we're doing good.
We're close. I think we're going to be looking in probably next year's budget and purchasing some more water rights.
Yeah.
We've got some money in the kitty for it. So.
Definitely just to give us flexibility on there. But this is good. Thanks for reporting this, James.
And that's the pool right there. It's got the days it starts. If you look, in January we didn't have any restrictions. And come March, you know, we were in that 20%, and then 30, 35, 40, back to 35, up to 40, and now we're back on.
Are we still in 3? We're
Yes.
still in 3?
Yes, we went back to 3.
Yes.
Okay.
So are we
Awesome.
saying we have to make water adjustments based on our increase in population?
Yes,
Increase
sir.
in usage?
Yes.
Okay.
We, I believe we collect a third of an acre foot.
Because I know it was mentioned once that we use way less than what we're allotted, but because of the increase.
Well, we do, and keep in mind we've had a lot of construction where they're buying water from the water, so that's raised our pumpage up
Which we
too.
need to adjust. Okay.
But we have that water impact fee that you pay for every time they connect. We get a water impact fee, and that's what gets transferred yearly. And you saw it in the budget. It was a lot coming in and then a lot going out. And we'll use that money to purchase more water rights throughout the year. I had someone call me, I don't know, a couple weeks ago and asked if we wanted to lease water rights. I don't want to lease them. I'd rather we buy them and we own them forever. If we were in a hardship and we needed them, then we go lease them enough to get us by, so we don't have a violation.
So if we didn't have the water restrictions, we still would have about a third of the water that we have.
And if we didn't have a lot of the construction where they were using, I don't know how much they use per month after James probably does on all that land work for the subdivisions, I mean, we'd still have a pretty good cushion, but we need to stay ahead of the curve, because that acre foot of water gets more and more expensive every year. I think now I heard the going rate is about $6,500 an acre foot.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's why we're going to be tracking this, so we can kind of get
So
an
we
idea.
expect to see that in our next
Yep.
one.
Yep. That'll be good.
That's your chart right there. You see how much we got from the new authorized and the current, how much room we got in there.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That's it. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, question. So if the reads are 67 man hours, why is it double for rereads, 144?
Do what now?
If the meter reads are 67 man hours, why is rereads 144
I think
man hours?
we got them reversed.
I can answer that. The reason we had a lot of rereads is because this is one of the first bills that went out with the new rates. I've heard a lot of people come through and say, hey, I need to go reread my meter. I got a leak, something's wrong. And we're like, we go reread it, it's the right number. It's just our rates went up, so they're getting used to that new rate.
So they weren't necessarily misreads. They were
No, They weren't misreads. People just, and if you say, hey, I don't think you're right, will you reread my meter? We're gonna issue a work order, come reread your meter. We've done a lot of those.
I actually think those are reversed.
You think,
I think the 144 was.
Should be the read.
For the
Meter
reads.
reads, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
those
because
are
I saw
reversed.
that, yes, it was over double.
And
Yeah,
rereads
I
will
saw
go
that.
down as we continue to get radio reads in there.
Okay, yeah.
Because we'll have that, we had several that said, I had to have a leak. We pumped, and we agreed there was a lot of water that moved through it, but there was no leaks. When we have these radio reads, we can go through and say, hey, no, if you go through our system on the 15th, you used a lot of water. What? Oh, I had a party, or dang, I did fill my pool, or something like that.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And this, in council, just for your awareness, is nothing within the city, but they have a leak over, if you haven't heard, there's a leak over by the Whataburger C-store. So they've actually been shut down until, they can't operate the restaurant unless they have water, be able to have the water there.
When they expect to have it fixed?
They were down for 5 hours.
Are they back up now?
At 3 o'clock, they had water on.
Yeah. I talked to them, let me check with them. I had talked to them, they were still, the Whataburger wasn't open yet. This was around 4.
But
So,
he fixed it twice, so this should be fixed.
yeah, they said they found another leak.
Probably caused it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anybody want
We fixed the first one and found another one. So, just stand by on that.
Was it inside their building or was
No,
it,
it's right outside the meter. Their meter.
so it was
Their meter's
on the
across the
city?
street.
No. It's in there, it's from the meter
It's
into
after
the,
the meter.
Oh, okay, so it's on them.
They got a backflow preventer, that a double check valve that comes up out of the ground, and it was right at the base of that.
So what do? Hire a private plumber to come in and fix that?
They tried to. Yes, they did. He was notified Friday night. He didn't get there till 10 o'clock this morning.
Okay, but my question is, you guys don't fix that.
No.
If it's on their side of the meter,
We notified
they're
them
responsible
Friday.
for
Yes,
that
sir.
and they take care of it and they pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
okay.
Kept going.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so let's see, it's 8:10 right now. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. But before we do that, if you guys can join me, he thought he could sneak out. You guys remember, Richie, we didn't get a chance to celebrate Richie's, and I know he loves zebra cake. So this is back on the 31st of October. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday, dear Richie. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. Hey, he's the first one that is eating it before he even stops singing the song.
I didn't know we were gonna make it through the
What
song
is
or
up
not.
with that? I mean, he blew the candle and he was into it like crazy, I tell you. Now, well, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. I'll be good. See 9:29. If you can go ahead and show us back 8:29. I'm sorry, 8:29. That would have been a good break, right? I'm telling you, that would have been a good break. Hey, and kudos. That was some good food. Thank you for taking care of folks.
Well, somebody wanted some sodas.
Well, yes, we'd like soft drink next time. No diet.
No diet. What do you want? Dr. Pepper?
Dr. Pepper would be fine.
There
I
you
prefer
go.
glass bottles, but we'll settle for a can.
Ice cold?
No, that's fine. Yeah, but-
Refrigerated is okay with you?
That's okay.
Okay, here we go. Richie, all yours.
Now, let me see if I can remember how to operate this darn thing. I haven't been up here doing this in a while. Let's see. Okay, so calls for service 254, vehicle collisions, alarm calls. Those numbers are all pretty normal there. Not much to say. Those numbers are about normal. And a lot of citations. Most of those, let's see, their high number would be the speeding, obviously, driver's license related, a little bit of everything there. Kind of your typical traffic stuff, I guess.
Richard, let me ask you on
Go
the
ahead.
speeding, since we changed the speed limits in some of those streets, is that reflected here? Is that where you're writing some of these speeding tickets?
Yes, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I could get that, but we're still seeing a lot of speeders on Somerset Street, South Somerset Street, South Somerset Street, between Main Street going towards, the HEB area.
Right. Uh-huh.
So, you could pretty much probably set somebody over there 24 hours a day and they'd write tickets. You can get them coming and going. 25 is pretty slow for that stretch there, and it's taking people a while because they were already doing more than 30 to begin with. So it's just a little more challenge physically, or I actually call it physically stopping vehicles because there's no shoulders. So you have to kind of go a distance to get them pulled over. But I came through there today, and I was going to a call on the interstate. We had a wreck just south of town, and one of the reasons I was a little late, but people were, just as I turned out there, even before I turned my lights on, people were just zooming, speeding. So we put the 25 limit over on half of Prairie Street, but the other half we still need the signs on. And is there any other streets, Matt, besides, are they all on Benton Street now? And James, do you remember where?
They're on Benton. We just have to do south part of North Prairie.
South part of North Prairie, like between the football field and the primary, coming back to the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
So that's really what we're waiting on there, and that'll give us, then we can, do a little more with that in there and see. So yes, some of that would be that, but you could find speeders pretty much everywhere. I mean, they're pretty much everywhere. I mean, it's just a matter of there's only so much you can do. Of course, when you get the speeders, so what you're stopping people for is stop signs, red lights, speeding, and then registration, and then that's where you're getting the driver's license related to 119, the no insurance, the other stuff, you're getting that with that. Once you stop.
If you wanna deputize me, I'll write 50 tickets a day for
Stop
running
signs?
stop signs
Yes.
up around my house.
I just had a guy call me last week about, I think he's on vacation even, he told me about, so we're gonna work on, we're going through some organizational changes, and we're gonna kind of be on a clean slate and try to look at some stuff, but that is an intersection that's been brought to my attention.
A guy with an empty pickup truck and an empty cattle trailer today blew the sign right out my front door there, coming up North Benton, turning right on Laredo to go out Wisdom, and then he blew the one at North Somerset in Wisdom.
So, my wife, she jogs, walks, and sometimes she forces me to go with her when the kids all don't want to go. And yes, I walk around your house, I walk around, and I see that, all the time when I'm walking. And I'll call the guy, hey, dude, sit over here. When you're in a police car, it's a little more challenging. People see you long before you see them. So it is a little more challenging, but I see that as a private citizen who lives here in town, and I see that all the time. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, we have the same problem in the coal mine.
I mean, it's just, because, so in general, and I don't want to get too long-winded, in general, the majority of people are just really concerned about where they're going. They're really not, they're not as considered as they probably should be. They're trying to go a little faster pace than they should be. My gosh, you can't watch the San Antonio news without somebody getting killed over somebody brake checking them or turning in front of them. I mean, it's a terrible atmosphere on the roadway. David and I were out on 35 today, just a stone's throw from the city limits with an accident. A vehicle was rolled over. Lady had a little kid in there in a car seat, another 6-7-year-old daughter out there. The lady had been thrown from the vehicle, and people would barely slow down to where David could get out of the car on his side as we were coming up. I mean, they got somewhere to go, and they're not considerate, and it's just a wonder. I mean, anytime you you're in an accident on the interstate, you're taking your life in your own hands. 18-wheelers, passenger vehicles, people on the phone, people, talking to people kissing each other. I mean, everything. You sit there and watch it as you're driving by. It's really, so yes, I think a lot of it's just the general, people are in a hurry, and it's a problem that this is just a very small part of a larger issue we have in our world, in our country at this time that I could go into, but I couldn't solve, so I won't. The racial profiling data, again, we do this just so we have it monthly, so we can give it to you for the required report. A lot of that is, there's nothing very real interesting in there, but you can always go through that and look at it. Arrest, it's a lot of stuff, DWI, a little drugs, DWI, some warrants, just some basic stuff. Now this is back, Is this the right report, Matt? Did I give you is this the most recent one I sent you?
Yeah.
This would be the, when are we on right now?
September. This is this.
Yeah,
You would had the
Is this which report is this? Well, let me look here.
September.
I emailed over the, hold on. Should we do the October report? Is that what we're supposed to be on? See if this is the October report then. I sent this, well, I'm not saying I sent the wrong, maybe she just picked up the wrong one.
Oh, that's your fault.
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't give y'all this one either, so it really.
Search your pockets here.
See what's on there. You haven't seen this one before either. Where'd it go? Did you take it down already?
Yeah.
You haven't had it either.
While you're doing that, Richie, we had any more problem with catalytic converter stuff?
Not in the last several weeks, no, sir. See if it's at the very bottom there. Well, no, October.
No.
Yeah, that should be it.
October 10th?
Well, it's the 10th month.
Yeah,
It says date modified the 2nd of November. That's probably it.
That was right before I sent it out in November. It's all the same, just the numbers change. It's really, I could have probably given you a report 5 years ago and looked the same, because with same officer, same stuff, we hadn't really had any big major changes. I always carry a backup with me whenever, in case I'm at home and I want to just look at some stuff. Okay, back again here. All right, let's start over. My time, restart my time. We got this, So that's not the same thing? No, random that's 15, driver's license related is 50. Last time we had 100 and something. So 305 issued there. Again, the same kind of stuff. A few more vehicle registrations. Oh, National Night Out there. So we had our National Night Out in October. It was fun and everybody had a good time. We hadn't done it in 2 years because of COVID. So I think everybody enjoyed that. That's my family down there on the right, Luke. Joy, Grace, my wife, and Benji. Anyway, there we are. And there's some more people. There's some policemen, Frank and Joe. There's pictures there. Danny put all these pictures in there. That's me cleaning up afterwards. You know, I'm kind of like that first in, last out kind of guy. You know, it's just the way I've always lived my life. Adult arrest, same stuff. Warrants, DWIs, theft, right, evading with a motor vehicle, drug paraphernalia, arson. Warrants. I don't know if I was used for motor vehicles. A stolen guy, a lady in a stolen vehicle, drug paraphernalia. No juvenile arrest. Juvenile crime's really not much of a thing anymore. I don't know why. I think kids are too occupied on the internet and social media to really get out and commit crimes. I don't know. But we don't take hardly any reports of juvenile related crime anymore. At least, you know, the school may have some, but we don't deal with anything out on the streets. Identity theft, financial fraud, burglaries. Some tools taken from North Pecan, a main storage burglary, and somebody spray painted the stop sign on Reese Foster Way. Thefts, you know, HEB, plants and trees, we did actually make an arrest on that. What do we have here? Diesel, that's from a construction site out there. Vehicles, Lytle Crossing that's a vehicle parked with the old bales. They had a catalytic converter theft. Hurley Funeral Home had one. Mini Storage had one. Shoplifting, recovered stolen vehicles. There's 3 catalytic converter thefts last month, and we probably might have had 1 or 2 this month. You know, those things that I read, of course, nationally, I mean, they're just going wild with catalytic converter thefts. I mean, it's just, there's actually, I read TML, they've got, they're trying to get some legislation making it illegal to possess one unless you've got, you know, you're actually a person who's installing it or whatever. Because see, the problem is we stop somebody down, they got two or three catalytic converters, can't do nothing with it. You know they cut them off. You know you just kind of stuck. So maybe the legislature will give us some tools to help, you know, change some. So we had National Night Out, had department head meeting, emergency management meeting. Not terrible out there. First responders breakfast. We did some, of course, escorting some band and whatever. That Sunday the 16th, International Association of Police Chiefs this year happened to be in Dallas, which it hadn't been there probably in 10 or 15 years. So with Frank and Matt and David and I made a weekend of it. We went out among some did a little personal trip and went up and visited his family in Oklahoma in Durant, Choctaw friends of ours. And then we came back and went to the expo that day. That would have been Ernie. If Ernie Kroger was here, he would have been with us. But, career day at the primary, Danny got stuck up there. I guess a bunch of people didn't show up, so I think he did 4, 5, 6 classes up there, gave a little spiel. And then we escorted the band, so a lot going on there. The band back in, that was like at 2-something in the morning, I wasn't there.
Just right before 3, they rolled in.
So, how many times you get guys on night shift to escort the band? They thought we all got all that stuff. They got a little action there. Pumpkin party at the Methodist Church. Danny and David stopped by there. Cross country team escort. So we had this company come out. This guy lives in Lakeshore, and he said he would. This has been going on for a while. But he said he'd volunteer to seal coat the PD, and he did. And that was a before picture there. The parking lot had not been seal coated since it hadn't been seal coated ever since we moved in 2015, I believe, May of 2015. And so, we ferried the vehicles around. He did the front one time and the back, restriped everything. I mean, I don't know, I think he said about $8,000 or $10,000 gig. Had to be because he had crews there several crews there for several days. I mean, it wasn't anything he just did in one morning. But so now our parking lot looks nice and everything, and seal coating it, just in case you're not. I mean, I've had this with parking lot. Basically coats it, seals it to where the water doesn't get underneath it. That's what destroys our roads and things, is water getting right, James. Is that what you think? Kind of what seal coating does? That's the purpose of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a road guy, but it looks better. Pretty pictures and nothing else. That's a brand new there. Did we just start we just had one. We just had one time sheet because we started October 1. So we do have a lady volunteering at the police department now. She's retired. She lives out in Saddle Ridge, and she's been volunteering 2 or 3 days a week. She helped us for a few hours doing admin stuff. Today she's really, she got a lot of energy though, and kind of always gets me to do stuff. So it's working out pretty good. She hasn't brought us any food yet, so that may be the only drawback. Reserve officers. Joe came in. I got supposedly Mark coming in this week. Is that everything? That's it.
She's a good person. Retired Air Force.
Nice lady. And so we've been so Frank retired. Of course, we were working on that. We've kind of got to reorganize, replan, reshuffle, when we look at like when Matt left, really it's kind of it's sad. You think, well, I'm losing Matt, or you think, well, of course he's still kind of here, so he's kind of only partially lost. And but it really what it does is it really forces you to adapt and not get complacent when you have people coming and going, and having to adapt. Because the problem is the citizens out there, the same stuff, our calls keep rolling in no matter who's here. If I leave tomorrow, if I die in my sleep tonight, somebody's got to come in tomorrow, and people are going to need the police, and that's what. So we have to be prepared, and I think we've done a good job of that, and we got dedicated people, and we'll be moving forward.
So you advertising already for?
No. We probably. So what we've got to do, I lost a captain and a lieutenant. So what I've got to do, I've got to determine, do I have the internal talent and the people that want that to absorb those positions, and hire patrolmen, or after 2 or 3 months, I say, look, we can do this without having to bring in higher paid administrative people from, with experience to take positions. Or I would say, look, this is not working. We are going to have to maybe hire 1 patrolman and a captain, or 1 lieutenant and an assistant chief, or whatever you get to put us back where we were. So that's kind of how we looked at it, and that's kind of how we're going to play it out. I want to give our current staff a chance to see what, to make sure we can see what happens, It's a plan, and it may work.
How many reserve officers do you have right now?
Well, reserves, I just have, Matt, I have Mark Montgomery, who's been gone out for the pitch for a while. He'll be back in Wednesday, and I got Joe Torres. But, those guys are limited. I mean, unfortunately, in the world of law enforcement, hiring people has changed so much in the last 10 years. I mean, it's very difficult. I used to have people coming out of the woodwork, looking for reserve jobs and things like that. Now the only ones you get they work side jobs doing road construction. They just want you, they want to come here and work, you know, a day every couple weeks, and then they work use your commission and do security stuff, which that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that are, you know, want to be public servant type people. So it's not, and of course Matt can tell you, because he's been right there in the trenches with me on it. I mean, they're just those people, as the state has elevated the requirements for peace officers. They've elevated the training requirements, and it's driven a lot of people that were, you know, kind of part-time, and it's pushed them out of it because it's too much to keep up, you know. So, you know.
Because I know in the past you brought them up, you know, in the sense of the
Sure,
opportunity.
but I don't have anybody, unfortunately, I don't have anybody looking for work. That's the one I've got is retired, the other guy's an assistant fire chief in a bit larger department in Bear County with about 100 guys. And how many stations they got? 5? I mean, so I don't have that. We are looking. I have attempted to get some people in, but those have not successfully, the last 3 I've attempted have not successfully, it has not materialized. Let's just, I mean, that's probably the appropriate thing. It just hasn't materialized, not for various reasons, you know. So we have tried. 3 is what we've done in the last 6 months. We've tried to process in, and we're still hanging on 1 or so, but it's not materializing as we hoped it would. Because as we work, then the people we're dealing with, you know, their life situations change. You have a guy who may be looking to come on here to reserve, and then all of a sudden you find, well, my wife's pregnant, or, you know, my wife got a new job and I'm going to have to do this. So, I mean, you're constantly trying to find, and part-time is the same way. I mean, whether you're paying them or not is really not the issue. It's a matter of finding someone that has the, in a perfect world, you would have some retired people, maybe, that were looking to work. But no matter which side of the political spectrum you sit on, being a policeman is not a very, there's a lot of people that see that as not a very good career path to be in because of some of the social things going on, political things going on. People are just avoiding, you know, those type of positions. And that's why when I started as a police chief here 23 years ago, for a job that didn't pay nothing, we would have 25 applicants. Matt remembers in this room here, what, 15, 20 people taking a test for a job that paid $18,000 a year. Now, we advertise for a job that pays $45,000 a year, and we get 2. So we've been very fortunate. We've maintained people. We have a good core group of people still. We are all in law enforcement, whether you pay $80,000 a year or $30,000 a year. Everyone is looking for applicants. I could just go on and on. We research it all across the state, and but we think we shouldn't have any trouble with what we're doing here. Shouldn't be affecting any kind of service here. You know, it's just a matter of really kind of not making any jumping into something unless I know exactly what I'm getting into.
Okay.
That's kind of where we are. I mean, you know, that's just kind of my take on the situation. Any questions?
Thank you, Richie. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna eat too.
The rest of his birthday. Okay, Lynette, here we go.
So I gave you all a budget report. I wish I could have sent that to you a little bit sooner, but I just got done with it right before the meeting. So the first of all that with on the totals on the revenue and stuff, Paula will touch a little bit more on that, but you'll see that we're doing really good with our taxes. So she's already got over half collected, so she's doing really well. But she can answer more details on that when she comes in. If you jump down all the way to hotel tax, about almost halfway down the page, you'll see that we're a little bit short on that. I'm sure you all know that the hotel was sold to a man from California. Right? California?
Yes.
And there was a lag in payment, so we've only got 1 month in so far. So we lost a month of payment from the prior. So I'm a little bit behind on there. Franchise tax is doing really well. As you see, we're already at $59,000. I'm very happy with that. even though Matt and I were looking today that we're a little bit behind compared to where we were last year, but I think the economy is driving that. Our city sales tax is doing okay, but again, if you look at last year's comparables, we're a little bit low. What was it, Matt, last year? Do you remember when we were looking?
For the month,
For the sales tax, we were, last
we
year's.
were probably, last year's,
I think it was like
Almost starting.
30,000, I think it was around a $30,000 difference, so we're a little bit short compared to what we were last year. So just look through that real quick. I know I just handed you a ton of stuff, but if you have any questions about anything, just ask.
Now, this is for the whole fiscal year, so we're talking about,
No, this is just for 2023, this is October and November of this current fiscal.
okay.
This is on the new budget year.
So, correct. So if I look at this, I'm looking at what we budgeted. This is what we budgeted from October to September of next year,
Yes,
right? So the difference that we're showing in there is basically the offset from the whole year.
on the variance, yes.
Yeah.
That's gonna
So
be
I just want you to, so you see
Yeah, on the
parentheses, that's the whole year.
Yeah, so if
So-
you look at the top, it's for period
Yeah.
ended 9/30/2023. So this is just 2 months worth of fiscal activity that you're looking
Yeah.
at. One thing we have increased on is the community center. We've been booking that a lot. It's booked out pretty much till when? Like January?
So far, we have, I can have one
one in February.
in February.
Yeah, so it's pretty big. So we're using that a lot more now that we've let more people come in with it.
Good.
One thing I do want to hit on is the fines. We budgeted 308,000. In 2 months, we've already made 82,000 on that. So having that extra court clerk in there that's calling and reminding people that they have warrants, so they have fines, has helped a lot.
Wow.
We've been having double court, as y'all know. That's helped a little bit. To be honest, it's only been bringing in about 12 or 15,000 every time we have court. That's the numbers that have been coming in. But it's still helping to relieve what's out there.
That's a third. You're already looking at
Yeah.
you're already at a third
The
at
girls
for the
have
whole
really,
year.
really been doing really well.
Yeah.
Yes. they're
That's
doing really
awesome.
well. Matt had Ashley working on warrants there for a little bit. We had to pull her off of it. She was working on past warrants and making phone calls and doing that kind of stuff. And so she was bringing a little bit more money. Just letting people, hey, this hasn't been forgotten about. You need to pay it. And then, of course, we get the people that can't renew their driver's license and have to pay immediately. So, to get the driver's license and all that to remedy. The rest of that's just the typical stuff that's coming in. There's nothing that I'm concerned about at this time. Let me see. I haven't sent any of this out to the department heads yet. Like I said, I was just able to complete this today. Matt and I were still tweaking a little bit on getting the budget in there. We had some numbers that we were looking at. I needed him to double check and we were just making sure it was 100% right. So they haven't got their revenues and their expenses yet to look at.
On the hotel tax,
Yes.
you mentioned that this was monthly, that was being missed.
There was 1 month during the transition of the sale that I only got about 4,800 in.
So their option is monthly, quarterly,
Monthly, quarterly, yeah. And
so there's no penalties for not paying the hotel tax if they're behind on that.
Right.
Okay.
So I don't know if we're going to get that residual or how it was going to be applied on the books because I don't know when the sale actually was completed.
Right.
So, Lynette, I noticed in the second page, there's a few down insurance,
What are we looking at?
the 6,300 that was budgeted,
Under
and
600? Give me the 100?
yeah, the,
120s?
so it's a 100. It's the second page,
Okay.
and it's a 6730 insurance budgeted for 6,300. The actual activity is 17, but I also noticed further down in insurance, Actually, it's the same. Oh no, one is a 22. Insurance budgeted 18 and we're at 36. So we've had higher expenditures
So you
on.
gotta remember, we pay our insurance and our workers' comp and stuff in bulk. So a lot of that was there was an increase, and we split that out absolutely correctly this time, and that's gonna be part of a budget amendment.
So that's where I was going. Okay,
Yes.
so we'll need
So
to make amendments
when-
on that insurance.
When Matt had the new bills come in, I literally went line item by person and broke it up based upon the way it should be, so we know exactly how much department is costing us.
Roger that.
And I can give that breakout to y'all as well.
No sweat.
So there are gonna be budget amendments done to this, that was gonna tell you all that in my upcoming. This is something that Matt and I are gonna start going over as soon as things settle down from the holidays.
Looks
see anything
good.
else?
Council, do you have anything? Turns out each department doing good overall, and just looking across the board.
We're doing okay. I mean, everything that I'm looking in is, like I said, I don't have any real concern. Library's coming in, I'm seeing some fluctuations, like in donations for the fire department. You know, with the economy getting a little bit, harder on people, they're not donating as much. Granted, that is a wash. Donations to animal control or donations to library, they've also dropped a little bit, but I expected it.
So y'all were talking about utilities?
Yes.
I know my utility bill was like 10% more.
Mhm.
What's the overall, you getting a lot of calls you were saying on those?
We have got, more calls than normal asking about rate increase, and, Liza and Virginia have been wonderful about explaining that we had to go up on
Right.
a little bit of our rates. The majority, I would say 99% of the people took it very well, and they understood.
Okay.
And still reminding people that we are the lowest in any surrounding area, that we kept it as low as we possibly could.
The biggest thing with that for us to communicate is just let them know we're just trying to cover the expenses for us to run the system, because we're way below where we should be
I
based on.
remember in the past meetings, Matt was explaining to y'all, we were taking a hit in gas once we really put the numbers there. We were paying,
Yep.
out of our pocket for some things.
Awesome.
So you're more welcome to go through these, and if you have any questions, email me or call me. But I do wanna touch on just the monthly stuff as well. For the garbage, we have 1,548 clients for garbage. We brought in 55,000 for that, which, we are seeing an increase in that. We have 347 gas clients now. It dropped a little bit. Why is gas dropping, James? Why is gas dropping? How come we lost them? Yeah, I'd have to check into that, but we lost like 20 out of that. We billed 27,000. For the sewer, we have 856 that we bill for. We bill 33,000, so we're doing really well there. But then, like I said, the animal donations, like for the month, I only got $121, which normally we get about double that. And then for the library donations, for Cassandra, we only booked 172. In the past, it's been around 300 to 400. And then for our department donations, we were doing 1,500 to 1,700 in the past. The donations only came in at 1,045. We got 37 new meters put in, as James told you. Those are all the new master meter reads. We had about a 2-week fiasco of master meter. I can tell you I'm a pro at it now. Matt and I were out running master meters. It was kind of interesting, but we have it 100% under control, and it's working great. So I had everything programmed. The program for master meter is very, very tricky. It's a TXT file that has to read over to master meter from Encode, our accounting software. And once I reprogrammed everything to work, I gave it to Pete. He went and ran it. There was only one it didn't pick up. So out of 267, 276. And he did roll
Is that what we're up to?
So-
260 something meters?
Yeah. So once we can do that, It is gonna cut Virginia's time tremendously for these inputs. And we did have a couple of rereads, but that's only because it's high. But I programmed the machine that when you drive by it now, it will tell you, and that, say Pete drives by somebody in Saddle Ridge, it'll alert him now, and it will say high read, where he can get out and check it at that time, where we don't have to do a work order, and he can do it as he goes. Which we haven't started that yet, but that's in the process.
Are you working with the supplier at all on the software?
I talked to him for about 30 minutes,
Mhm.
and he sent me all the data files that I wanted to read, and once I told him I had it, that we're good.
But they're cooperating, helping out
Oh, he was
as
great.
needed?
Yeah, I finally talked to the programmer.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he was great. So now we've got everything under control. I've got them inputting a little comma or a period or a slash will mess everything up in the
Yeah.
system. So now that Virginia understands what to do with that, I think it'll run a whole lot smoother next time. So, we had 23 disconnects. All of them were reconnects. Most of them were sell houses or houses to be sold. So upcoming, Ashley, the court clerk is going to court training. She leaves on Wednesday. She'll be there Thursday and Friday. That completes her CEs, and she can take her court clerk 1. And it'll be the first time the city's had a certified court clerk in quite some time. I told you about the budget adjustments. That's something that Matt and I are going to work on in the future. We have an audit coming up. Okay, it's supposed to start the second week of December. I'm still waiting to hear back from Deb. As far as I know, everything's still on the works.
Awesome.
And then for future, Matt and I were talking about cross-training, and I hate to tell Paula, but I think she's gonna be the person that gets cross-trained for some of the finance stuff, to make her happy. And that's all I have, unless y'all have questions.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Lynette. A lot of hard work with a lot of this stuff, but I think this coming year we got things lined up a lot better.
Next year is gonna be even better. Matt and I need one good budget year. And after that, it'll be a lot smoother. Because I'm very, very picky where stuff goes in here now.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is awesome. Thank you so much for the update. All right, Paula, all yours. You got slides or? Yeah. All right.
Hello. So total permits for October were 6. We had 3 of the storage sheds, replacing material, irrigation system, I think that one was the Saddle Ridge, and then the fence with the solar system. Building inspection, we had 25, 1 for plan review, payment, electrical, and the AC work were 15. The drive and walkway were 2, the pre-pour was 1, and then 6 that were final. All finals were, I think, at Saddle Ridge. Total inspections for the plumbing were 18. 1 plans review, 2 up-in, 7 top out, 6 sewer, 2 final. Those 2 final being Saddle Ridge. October, these were all, well, I was able to send all the taxes out a little late, but we were able to get them out. We collected $387,443.81 on our ad valorem taxes for the month of October. So far for this month, we're kind of getting up there too, so we're collecting a lot. Just coming in, everybody's coming in early, always paying early. They don't want to pay late.
And you guys made an adjustment too with the early opportunity, right? In a sense of the due time. So
Yes.
we give them. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Because they were sent out way later, about the 20th.
Yeah.
So we were able to do all that for.
I know a lot of people want to do
People were
that.
coming in early to try to
Mhm.
pay them, and it was just, it was rough. And I don't have a lot left. I mean, that's all I have in this. I want to tell you that we started doing our decorating around the city. It's been kind of hard, but we're getting there. Hopefully we'll get it done this week. So I'll have James kind of finishing up all that, because we are gonna have our dinner, and it should be done by then. Maybe all the lights should be on.
But you guys have a lot. I drove by the community center and I seen there's a lot a lot of neat decorations gonna go up, so that's good.
Yes. It was kind of overwhelming at first to see all of those decorations.
Yeah.
But I think it's gone
But
better.
we always had a lot of reserve.
Yes.
We've always had, so. you
I know that
this-
VFW is gonna be here on Wednesday picking up some stuff for the gazebo.
Mhm.
So I think that's the other place. The next one will be that getting home, so we should be done this Friday to turn all the lights. That was his question.
No, actually, this is good. We get everybody excited for the lights and everything. People have been asking us, like, it's all a surprise, so just hang in there.
And I think Matt took the route, right, so that we can kind of see, everybody can see where we want everybody to kind of light their houses.
We're encouraging folks, yeah.
Yes.
The people in the houses, not only decoration and the businesses along the route, but also for them to be out there.
Yes.
I've talked to a few businesses and they're going to be out there. We want people to be cheering each other out along the route, so be out there and do something. So, and there's some pretty neat ideas. Stand by. Some of these folks are getting very creative with what they're going to do out there. So.
Maybe they could do like Honda with that, all those billboards. Highway 90.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm letting them figure out what they want to do, but there's some pretty neat ideas of things that they want to do for our riders. So stay tuned. I tell them surprise us. So it'll be good. See what they come up with.
Any questions?
Is the permitting software online?
Yeah, well, we're trying to get that one done. It'll be done. Probably we do a training like this next month and then hopefully January.
We'll go live with it after that.
And then historical should take some time to fill all that in, or
No,
we're not gonna do
We're not
historical?
gonna put historical in there. I don't wanna waste time with
From this point
maybe
forward?
taking bad data, but we're just gonna move
Because it's
clear
not-
forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Paula gets me some soap. There may be some snow up at the Gidley House and Firehouse for the report. Before I start, I'm going to cover, so many of you may know we had a snafu with our trash collection after Thanksgiving. It was supposed to be on Thanksgiving, that was a holiday, so it went to Friday. So I followed up with Waste Management and asked for a written report on what occurred today. I can read you the whole thing, but I'm a cliff notes. They said they had 10 guys scheduled to come in on Friday. All of them were trained in AVL, which is the truck telling them where to drive the routes. Of course, not all 10 guys showed up. The on-call route manager, decided to call in some extra guys that weren't trained in AVL and weren't very familiar with the areas they were going to, and said, peace be with you, I guess. And did not call their upper management to say, this is the choice I made, to then notify all of us. Of course, that caused a snafu of several streets being missed and garbage not being picked up in a timely fashion because they weren't efficient. One is we didn't get the mechanical truck that comes out that's really efficient. We got a truck and 2 guys, didn't know the area, made it really less efficient. Then they sent some more people out on Saturday to help finish up some of that. I don't think they got it all done. In total, they said they did miss a total of 6 streets, which was North Benton, Easy, Dehennis, Poco, Houston, and North Bank. They said they sent the truck out today. They drove the entire city and picked up any trash cans that were still out. But I'm sure most of you, like anybody else, said, hey, they didn't come and just pulled their trash up to their house. So I'm going to work with the mayor, and they've offered a couple solutions to us, and I'll work with the mayor on what's the best one on to remedy this. One would be within reason. The residents can set whatever trash out, and they'll just pick everything up to the cart to include a bag or 2, within reason, of course. Or we say, these are the 6 streets, you pick up everything on that street. I don't know. We'll work with the mayor, work what's best for our residents. Waste Management, I explained to them, we just signed a new 5-year contract, and like the first month, we've already had 2 snafus. We cannot have this anymore, So I'll get with the mayor before I leave tonight and answer and text our point of contact on that. So we're going to talk about the 8.5 million. We're going to start tracking this, right? That's the 8.5 million we took out a loan for. 1 million was for streets and sidewalks. To date, we have already spent $383,710 for the sidewalk grant. That is a one-time payment to them, and TxDOT, when 2023 rolls around, the funding lets for that. They'll start to bid that contract, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, there's no major overages, because if so, we'll have to come back and revisit that total number. So hopefully, so that leaves us a remainder of $616,290 for street repairs. we have to use an engineer. So years past when we did street paving, we ourselves as the council put it out and said, we want these streets paved, give us a cost. Unfortunately, that was over the $20,000 rule and should have been overseen by an engineer. Why, at the time, our attorney let us do that, I don't know, but here we are today. So we reached out to our engineer, and they said it would cost they'll be here for them, it's gonna be $21,365 for them to oversee that project, bid the project, let it, do do everything, right? So that leaves us roughly $594,000 for street paving this year. That's tons more than we've ever done. Last year we did $275,000, for example. So start getting some ideas on streets. We'll work with our engineers I know we've got one already in mind that we've talked about, put on the list. Give us some ideas on some other ones, so then we can go out and look at them with the engineers and really make an informed decision on what streets probably need to have the retopping done. The engineer's not gonna do major work, right? It's just, hey, come in, this is what, 2 inches of asphalt or whatever it is, and that's what they're gonna work on. That leaves us $7.5 million of the 8.5 for water and sewer. Anticipated expenses is 1.4. I got it today. It's a little over 1.4 million for the sewer plant expansion. Just the plans. The engineer drew off the plans for all that. Leaves us roughly 6.1 million for the water system improvements. Those improvements were a new booster pump, the 12-inch loop that runs from back over here and then runs through town and connects up to 35, which then gives us a true loop system, 12-inch line loop system around the town, and a new water tank over behind the Lytle State Bank. My goal, since it's on 35, is to have it kind of a showpiece for us. So I'm not looking for the typical metal water tanks we have currently. I'm looking for that newer style that's got the concrete kind of pour, and it's a metal bowl on top, but it's a nicer look, and then up top we would have our decals on it, have lights on it. When you're driving down 35, you're gonna see it and say, there's Lytle, Texas. That's what I'm looking for. Hopefully we can afford it. Planning and zoning, we still have the Lytle Farms Unit 1. I got a call today. The only thing they're pending is the TxDOT approval for their 12-inch main that runs in the TxDOT right-of-way. TRC has said that everything else they reviewed and answered back conforms to our codes from best they can tell. So like we did on the other one, he's gonna write up a letter and release it and to allow construction when they want, with the caveat of if something because TxDOT can take up to 6 months to approve that. If something in that TxDOT right-of-way changes anything that we've approved here, it's gonna trump that, and you're gonna have to come back and fix it if we find that it trumps something. So, and they know that's exactly what we do with Rosewood. Saddle Ridge 2 and 5 and the Lytle Mobile Home Park, they're still moving forward with everything there. I changed this up to not have so much data, but Saddle Ridge, again, it's 392 homes in 6 phases. 2 of 6 are completed with homes being constructed. Phase 1 is 69 homes. We still have 18 of the 69 lots that are in the home builder's name as far as the water meters. So that kind of gives you a plan on that. They did talk to Paula and anticipate pulling 9 new permits in the near future over there, so we're going to start rolling again on that. There's your current picture. So the top green section, that's your phase 1. To the, I don't know if the pointer's going to work. No. To the right of that is your phase 6, and then the bottom 2 phases are your 2 and 5. That's what they're working on now, putting in all your sewer. I think the water sewer's in, and they're doing drainage now, right, James? Is that what they're working on over there? I think that's where they're at on that. Rosewood's 540 homes, 3 phases. Phase 1 of 3 is under construction. They're installing the water and sewer. Of course, they had that delay with the rock over there. Lytle Farms, it's still in review. We just talked about that, and I think we have a meeting with them on their pit coming up this week. I think it is. There's a current picture today of what it looked like. To the right is 2790. So to the left is your Rosewood Estates, and that's just phase 1. So you can see how large of a subdivision just that alone is going to be there. Open projects, we are working, so street lights at that 15516 Main Street, we started with just that, and then there was an open ticket where they were supposed to light that south end of town. The mayor and I have met with them, they've done some studies, and they've come back with a plan that would light from Gray Street all the way down to Cortez Road. So all of that, and it's going to be and they were able to light up the road where they need the specs they need to be.
Yes,
So
it's
we're
very
moving-
dark in that area.
Yeah, so we're moving forward with that, and it's going to be, I think it should make everyone happy there, to include the police. You're going to be able to see more pedestrians walking, stuff like that. Speed limit signs, North Somerset Cottage. Again, we stuck, James and him stuck the temporary signs up, or not temporary, they're the signs, but they're stuck up on the old poles. They did go get the new breakaway mounts a week or two ago, so they'll work on eventually getting all the permanent poles with the breakaway mounts up. He's still working on the North Somerset Street, that roadway fill where the bollards are across from the park. So he's still got to get the pressure treated wood. He's got to remeasure all that to get the right size pressure treated wood. Then they'll come back in and they'll fill that roadway in so we don't have that sharp dip between the road and that. We'll get started on that soon. 6843, the road was closed today. I'm gonna have you some pictures of that. And then the drainage projects there. The open contracts we keep going through there. The only big one to touch on right now is the city yard maintenance. We'll go ahead and rebid that in December to get the new contracts out. Updates, you can go through those as you. The biggest one is that top one though. We've always talked about the foundation at the community center. Everybody says it's broke, we need to do something, we need to do this, we don't know how much it's gonna cost. I called the company for a free estimate. That is the cost to fix the foundation in the community, $66,940. That's Ocean Foundation Repairs. It's a reputable company. On the side from the center of the building, on the side where the street is, it's dropped 2 inches, and on the back side it's 1 inch. A lot of it is just the building settling and the trees starving the foundation for water. We have those really big trees up front, and it's been really dry, and they're just starving the foundation, so they're drawing all that water out from the building, so that's for. But that's what it would cost to fix it, to fix the slab, and then from there we can figure out the actual building. We can't do anything with the building until we fix the slab. We do have a CD that the one yours gave us years ago that is earmarked for just that, and it has $160,000-ish in it. Good news. So we can move forward from there. Numerous meetings there, like I said, you can go through all that there. I did leave that disconnect for the idle meters on there, the water and gas from last month, just so I can touch base with you. So we're getting all the addresses located, mailing addresses. So that way I can send out a letter to them and say, hey, your location's been identified as a location that either has a water or gas meter that is considered idle and you don't get a bill. Our rules change, here's what they are. Do you want it? Call us. If you don't, come in and get it disconnected. Water's simple, right? I can just send James up there, they can go make the disconnection and we're done. Gas is not as simple. There's a cost for CPS to come out and disconnect their meter. So if we move in that direction, that's gonna have to be phased in over time because that's a budgetary item. Obviously, I didn't anticipate. I thought, well, they disconnect the meter, but we can't do anything. It's gotta be CPS and CPS is gonna charge us, and apparently it's a pretty hefty cost to do those. We'll work forward with that. Maybe we put, I don't know, maybe we lock them out and then the guys just drive by and, hey, the lock's there, we're gonna have to go read a meter. Pictures. There's your 6843, okay? I don't know if you all remember, we cleaned all that trash out. There's your trash. So let's take a little flight here. I don't know if, can you hit play on that one at the bottom? I took my drone out today, far left. Or not?
Hang on, I'm gonna go to your actual file.
No, it's in the report.
It won't. No, is this it?
Yeah, double click it.
It don't, it won't?
Bring it back to slideshow first. There you go.
This one?
Yeah, click on that, no, the slideshow.
I did.
Yep, and then on the bottom left.
Ah, there you go.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Click it one more.
Mine tell you it looks worse in person even.
Okay. Well, big bucks, no whammies, I guess.
So this is on our side, right?
Yeah, this is on our side, so the video's not playing, I can see. But as I flew down that road, and it's overrun with just grass and everything growing on it, but the trash is tremendous again. The tires are tremendous, they're all over again.
So I see
there it goes,
vehicles.
Here we go. So I flew it kind of quick because my battery is dying. But you'll start to see on both sides of the road And that all on the right used to be full of water at one point. So you can start to see the trash littering in there. Now we're gonna get to where all the heavy stuff is. We've got mattresses all out there again, all the trash, tires.
Not exactly something John Denver would sing about. Terrible.
Is there a big chunk of tires?
There's a bunch of tires. You can look at all that.
Cause I could hear like dump trucks back there.
I didn't see that, so play that one real quick if it'll play for you.
Dump trucks?
Yeah, you can hear
I think
right
it's
across from my house.
Oh,
Back
that.
there. I don't know what they're doing.
But if you're hearing them like that, it might be the commercial dumpsters on some of those businesses right there. Because that's usually,
Maybe, I don't know.
yeah.
But if it plays, it's fine. But you can see there. That I mean, I kind of just flew a little way down, but you can see the amount of trash on either side of that road again. It is just overrun with trash. But oh, here we go.
So I noticed on the other video, Matt, because I never was able to see, and I guess in the winter we'll be able to see more because the leaves will fall. But I noticed a bunch of those trucks on the left-hand side, so those property owners. Did we ever reach out, and this is before you, but do we know if we ever reached out to those property owners and told them, hey, this is your responsibility on their property?
I don't know about that. That's before me.
Now, which trucks you're talking about?
If you go back to the other slide,
Because there's some in the county part. I
yeah,
know.
go right there. Okay, oh, no, go back. Okay, do you see the trucks on the
On
left?
the left, yeah.
That's a property owner, right?
Uh-huh.
So we were supposed to talk to all those property owners on that side and find out how far our responsibility was to clean it, and then the rest of them, we were gonna tell those property owners that they need to clean it, it's their property.
I think we got a 50-foot easement in there, I believe.
Yeah, that's the thing, we were trying to find out how much the easement was, so we figure out where our line is, that it's our responsibility, and what is their responsibility.
And what portion of their property is within the incorporated city limits,
Correct.
and what isn't out in the county.
Yep.
So I can tell you, I can look at it and see and just go
Yeah.
from there.
I mean, what you guys are doing is gonna stop if we actually have it. But eventually, after we clean it, we're gonna have to tell those property owners on both sides, hey, this is your
Your
responsibility.
responsibility to clean it, yeah.
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 So just kind of keep that back in
So
mind.
that is what, on our side, this is what it looks like currently. So behind our two barricades is another piece of guardrail for temporary use. Myself and Officer David Lopez, we were out there today taking measurements. I ordered some weld-on hinges, and Dave and I will construct a fence and go out there and install it ourselves. I've tried to get a couple welders, but at this point, I'm not gonna pay somebody. We'll buy the metal, and David and I will work on it ourselves one day. So eventually, we'll have a swing gate, one big gate that swings open, and on that gate, we'll have reflective material mounted on it. That way, people will see it. We've got signs ordered, so at that intersection, you'll have signs on either side of the road that says road closed, and going back before that, signs that say road closed ahead. So it'll be well marked. The other side, Medina County permanently, they've got it permanently closed with barrier, yeah.
So that's guardrail all the way on both sides?
Yes. There is no driving a car on
That's
either
what,
side of
that's
that.
what Medina County helped us out with, right?
Yes, they were out there today doing it, yes, sir. So Medina County supplied, other than our guys set the 2 metal poles on either side of the barricade and 2 more on the far side. We went out today with our tractor and drilled some more holes, and they put some wooden bollards, and then they installed all the guardrail. Like I said, there is no driving either side of that road to get past. If you're gonna get down that road, you're gonna bust through our gate, or you're gonna cut a lock once we put a gate up.
How far is it from this gate to a road or something up this way?
From that gate, that picture's taken probably just in from the intersection. So
Okay.
where the road sets, there's a cross street about just behind where Pete was standing when he took that picture.
So there's no issue,
There's no issue with access.
There's no issue with them, getting caught down there at the dead end.
No, yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's right there.
what I was leading to is, we're gonna have people just pulling up here saying, oh, nuts, and dumping it right there in front of that.
So just to the right of that photo is a house,
Yeah.
and just to the left is a house.
That's on the
That
south
it's
side,
all
right?
cleared open. I mean,
Yeah.
they can see them. So if they were gonna do that, they would probably be doing it now. That dumping would be closer to those houses. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But now they're gonna stop there and be like, it'd be like me stopping in front of your house going, man, I wanna dump this trash real quick. Hopefully nobody sees me.
That's on the county side, right?
That is our side.
No, this is our side right here.
That's our side right there.
That's where you get, 6840.
6843 just passed. 6842 is a cross street, and we're just up from that on 6843.
It's right at the T right there.
So.
Yeah.
The other side, that is county.
Yeah, the
This
other
side-
side's county, and it's permanently blocked, so there is no getting through that one.
So when you say again, this is the first cleanup after putting up the road barrier.
Yes, the city paid Waste Management
1,700.
a year ago, or
Yeah.
2 years, to go out there and clean up everything. They pulled 200 some odd tires out of there, James, y'all did, right?
125.
125 tires,
Right.
and then
Prior to the road closure.
prior to the road
Yeah.
closure.
Oh, no.
And I can tell you, it's just as dirty, if not a little
Right.
dirtier
So
now.
now we have the road closure and we're gonna do our first cleanup. Or we're
Well, yeah,
doing-
we'll work on schedule. I was talking to Pete today, and I think once we can get caught up, right, we'll get with James out there. We can work with Waste Management for maybe a couple roll-offs they can leave out there. And with the two machines we have now, with the grapple arm we bought for the new one, the backhoe, James can maybe use the swing arm to kind of pull some of this stuff up, and then we can use the grapple to pick it up and throw it in the dumpster, and then we can pick out tires as we're moving along.
And once all of that's clean and it's blocked on both ends, are we gonna just let the road go back to nature? It's a sand road, a dirt road, right?
Yeah, it's just a Caliche Dam type road, so
So you're not gonna maintain that road in any way?
no, I don't anticipate.
No,
it.
So
the-
eventually it'll
so-
blow over, right?
So the county and the city, the agreement that we signed is basically, they gave up all rights for any kind of maintenance. Technically, that's a county road.
Mm-hmm.
They gave all maintenance up because of the closure. That's how they formally do it. So there's no maintenance required on that. The only maintenance that we would need to provide is for us to have access to it. That's it. It's not for public, it's not for anybody else.
Now,
So
do we need to mark that, this is kind of mine, do we need to mark, or, because pedestrians can get through there. Do we need to mark that as no trespassing or something?
Yeah,
or
we can
what?
put some, when we go to Bailey signs for the other signs, we'll just get a couple no trespassing signs up and post them up there too.
Yeah, no, good call.
We got
And I didn't
space.
even think about that.
Yeah, because James was telling me, if we go back to that picture, he said that you went to all the way, I mean, it's pretty,
Oh, yeah,
You're gonna climb through the barriers or over them, you're not going around them.
there's no gaps for a bicycle or.
so it's,
Okay.
so it's a good,
Nobody unloading a pickup with a wheelbarrow going back and stuff.
No.
Good.
And that's what we're trying to do, is just try to get
Man-
control.
The man that lives on the right-hand side, he's real particular. He's chased them off before. He told us he catches people dumping it on. He's even gone out there with his gun, but he doesn't allow it. So,
So hopefully we have, hopefully it curbs the people pulling up at the gate now, Joe.
Yeah, good.
Or at least gets the cops called.
Mm.
And now, I mean, now we can use more technology the police department has to stick out there to maybe catch. So if it's going on again, we're not trying to capture a half mile of road, we're trying to catch a section of one.
The
little
reason
spot.
they're dumping there is real simple. There's no houses in that big, it's on a dam, and you could do anything there and nobody would see you. If you see car lots, you've got more than enough time to leave. So once, now that's not a good area, I don't think I think it will basically eliminate that.
I don't foresee us having an issue.
You got trees on both sides, there's a drop off.
Yeah.
Train station, there you go.
You can only drive
And when you
one
talk to some of the folks in there that have been there for a while, they'll tell you that there might be some residents from Twin Lakes, but there's people from outside of Twin Lakes that go in there and illegally dump. So, this is a good thing.
It's been dumping ground for years,
Yeah.
not just recent.
Yeah.
Mr. Deary, could you forward that presentation to the council, please?
Yes, I will, yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
there's 3 or 4 dumpsters on the county side now. I noticed there's 3 of them right in there within 200 or 300 yards of where the county closed the road. There's dumpsters there now.
So people are already figuring out trash collection.
I had a question, on AEP, have you all contacted them about putting a light across all the way from the entrance of the coal mine? I know there's a pole right there. We had discussed it, before.
I didn't know about that one, but I can reach out now that we got this franchise and say, hey, we want to get a street light installed. They did tell me if we've got any street lights that are out and the light head is defective, they replace them for free with the LEDs.
Yeah.
But they have to prove it's a defective fixture, not just the.
So,
Remember we talked about it?
yes, so, okay. We need to take care of our agreement.
Yeah.
So we're asking them to help us out. We need to do our part.
And that's what we finished tonight.
So we're doing our part. Yeah.
So yes, so when I follow up with this, when I send them the sign one in a couple days, once you get our
Yeah.
signatures, I'll say, oh yeah, by the way, we need you a street light here. how do we get this accomplished? Because now we have our point of contact. The one we used to have was no longer there.
Yeah.
And the only reason I found this guy is I went on their corporate page and found every email I could find to include their like president and vice president, and sent an email out and said, hey, who can I talk to? We're new and nobody's calling me this. And within 30 minutes, I had an email back. I'm your point of contact.
It's a new guy. So this is good. We're doing our part, and then we're gonna get the support. We gotta do our part. So we did it tonight. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna be a continuation of what we're working on with CPS too. You'll see a big difference. Give us a few months, but it is gonna be nice driving into Lytle coming in from that side. So it's gonna be good.
That's what we're working on that side.
We're
It
gonna continue
is.
to light it up along the way.
Yeah, and by the way, this has been a complaint for 30-something years. This is nothing new. So we're taking care of stuff that has been open. So we will take care of that, Sam. So that'll be good. Anything else for Matt?
Matt and I are still working. I don't want y'all to think it's just disappeared. Is the ball field lighting? We talked about that today. Don't think that we're not. We have a plan. We have a tentative plan, but we're not ready. I'll let y'all know next round.
There's a lot of moving parts that we keep identifying, right? So we're trying to juggle what's the best way and when's the right time to pull the trigger on this and on this and on this.
I just don't want y'all to think we forgot about it. It's,
We're moving on it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. We still need to work on exit phone line too. We and Tom was working on it.
we're something's maybe back in the works on that again. Yes.
Stand by. Stand by. We won't. I will promise you this. Anything that has been open for a while, it's on our list, and we're working it really hard. And I can't emphasize the help from Matt with a lot of these discussions and planting the seeds and doing the things that we need to do. So we're moving in the right direction. But the whole staff within itself, everybody in here has really been very helpful being able to do that. So kudos to everybody. I mean, all the way from animal control in the library and taking care of stuff, we've been able to accomplish a lot of things. How long have you had that roof that has been leaking?
I don't know. They put it in 2008 when we added on,
So there you go. So we finally got it fixed. Now she doesn't need to worry about needs to worry about leaks in it. So little by little, we're gonna tackle. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and we just gotta kind of work things in based on our financial constraints and the timeliness and getting things together. So kudos to everybody for getting those things together. Okay, informational items. I know I have a few things I want to discuss. Anything that anybody wants to share?
Yeah, I just want to say, the sign out front is great. It's got a lot of information on there. Richie's newsletter is great, but Mayor, I want to thank you for putting a lot of stuff on your website, on your Facebook account. It really does help a lot. A lot of citizens I know that I see and speak to, they say it's great that you're putting stuff out there too. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. When I was looking at an opportunity to serve, the number one complaint was communication, or the lack of. So I promised everybody that we would do a better job of doing that. And we got great resources that we tie in,
Right.
getting the information to Richie and a few other places. The billboard, I tell you, it's a great thing.
Yeah,
I've
it's
heard
great.
comments, people asking, hey, why didn't we have this before? It's awesome driving and being able to get the information and being able to highlight different things that are going on. So this is awesome. And that's what it's all
I don't
about.
know if you know, but citizens, and you've probably seen this too, citizens share on Facebook what you put on Facebook. Broccoli, Chris Broccoli? She always shares. Everything you put on there new, she shares it out, and then I share it on with mine. So it's multiplying out.
Great. Thank you
So-
for putting that stuff out.
Yeah. On a personal note, my grandpa, I'll just say it real quick, but my grandpa always told me, take the time to make sure people feel important.
Yeah.
And to me, if we can highlight something or we can pass information, they feel important. They're part of our community, and we need to do our best to be able to pass on. You might not be able to catch everything, but if you can catch the majority of it,
Information's king.
it's important to do that. So, okay. Informational items. First, I want to say thanks to the Lytle Elementary staff and the students for their donations to animal care and control. Santi, that was great on the newspaper, the photo.
That's all that.
There was a little bit of
I'm gonna be
everything.
posting another one prior tomorrow morning. I had a donation from the primary today that was given us.
Well, what did it have? A little bit of just.
Yeah, a bunch of wet, dry, kitten, puppy food, toys, little beds, bowls, and stuff like that.
That's awesome. I want to say, kudos. We had another Bella's Pantry, and Santi, you're doing a great job with that facility and just taking care of having everything prepped up. It was really good. We took care of a lot of people that day. So thank you for that. Thanks to City Hall personnel and Public Works for getting things done, especially with all the decorations and everything. I know that we've been learning a lot as we go, so trying to figure out certain things to be able to do that. So we really appreciate that, you guys getting involved with that. I know a lot of folks have been doing a little bit more than is required on that. Update on TxDOT. So effective tomorrow, our only northbound exit ramp will be closed. It's supposed to be for a week. And the current one that is closed, our on-ramp northbound, now it looks like it's going to be like on Friday. As long as the weather holds and we don't have anything else, we should have that. We have a meeting that is scheduled with them. I have a few ideas that I'm going to toss with them and try to figure out to minimize as we go through the holidays too. So we can do that. But please get the word out and let folks know our only one exit off of 35 going northbound is going to be shut for a whole week. So people need to go through either Natalia or go up to Lucky Road and turn around. So hopefully they just get off of Natalia and come up 132 and alleviate traffic going on there. Calendar items on there. Just a reminder, we have the Christmas holiday with employees and council this on the 2nd of December. If you have not contacted, please go ahead and let Paola know. You should have gotten an email on that. We should be testing our sirens next week, Richie, and thank you. Kudos for you guys actually getting. James, thank you for all the help being able to get that other siren up there so we can go ahead and take care of it. We had some damage with one of the windstorms, so we should be back up to speed with all of them. Lynette, thank you for setting up the audit. Really appreciate that. That's going to be a big thing. You've done a great job also with the bond rating, and this is just going to help us get ourselves in a better position for the next one too. We have a senior meal on the 8th. Is that right, Paula? So please pass the word around for folks who want to participate and be able to be part of that. This weekend, we got market days at Southbound Pottery. So please encourage folks to shop local. I'll continue to highlight some of the businesses, but there's a lot of great shops here that have things to go put in stocking stuffers or be able to buy. And of course, on the 10th also is our hayride. So please pass the word around and let folks know if you need to volunteer. Let us know if you know anybody that has trailers, preferably the gooseneck. Okay, please get with Matt and James. We're trying to get that list together so we have a good accountability. The more that we have, the more we can do in runs, the less runs that we have to do. So if we can get it down to three runs, that's ideal. That won't be too late, and we can get a lot of people through, especially doing with the goosenecks. And Paula, thank you for getting those step. That's going to make it a lot easier. Transport. Did we have, Paula, did we have any citizen nominations?
No, sir.
Okay, so we're going to proceed. We'll go ahead and put something together and bring it in front of council, just like we said that we were going to do. I'll take care of that. COVID, I'm going to ask our health administrator, health person to actually, Dr. Neal, to actually come and talk to us. We're getting into a higher level of the year where you actually see a little bit more people getting sick. So see what he sees, see what he does. I will tell you on a personal note, hearing from people through social media and other places, okay, we do have a little bit of folks that are still getting sick with COVID, okay? It hasn't popped up to a point where it's a high indicator, but there's a few folks that's happening here locally. So we'll get Dr. Neal in here and get an update on that. Birthdays, we already took care of Richie. If you have a chance, on the 30th, so in 2 days, it's Charles' birthday. Everybody has his email, so please send them an email and wish him happy birthday. It's on the 30th of November. And then we have Wayne on the 12th of December, so it'll be before our next meeting that we have. It'll be his birthday. Also ask, please check with others at this time of the year. This is a time, I hear it from the veteran side because of my other job, but I hear it from other people. Please keep an eye out, folks that are going through some financial problems. Right now, this is the time to kind of make sure that we're connecting the dots. There's a lot of different organizations and places that we can help out some of those folks. We are working with ACOG. ACOG has come back and requested that we only do it once a quarter instead of monthly. We're still going to have access to that. So they're shooting for January to be the first month. So I'm waiting for more. But we're going to have a centralized location for all these organizations, whether it's CPS with utility assistance or some of these other programs that are available to help out with food, winterization type programs. We're going to have once a quarter for them to come down. And then they want to adjust. If it's a high demand, they'll go to monthly. If they want to start on a quarterly basis, we'll probably do it for 3 quarters on there. So stay tuned on that. And please, in the next few weeks, we got a lot of different events that are happening that the city is going to be involved with. Please, if you see something, hear something, please contact Matt, Paola, Lynette. Let's try to help each other out as best as we can. Like I said, some of these things we're learning for the first time, and we're going to take care of them. Get the word out that goes along with that. Any last minute? Anything else that popped into your mind?
This Saturday, all day, at the high school, you'll see a lot of buses and activity over there. It's UIL Regional Band Competition. It's the first competition for inside the building band competition, not marching competition. So there'll just be a whole bunch of people, buses, cars, people coming and going throughout the day. In case you see something over there, that's what it is. And Richie, you may just let your guys know that there's big activity at school and
I
stuff.
appreciate that, because a lot of times we don't, like the mayor said, if y'all got something you think we need to know about, please don't assume that we know about it, because, especially stuff with the school. I don't have any officers that have any kids here in school, so, and live just outside of town or other districts.
So the 3rd of December.
This Saturday, and it starts, we're gonna be there at 6:30. We're running the concession stand, but it's all day long.
So
UIL concert and orchestra type competitions. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Concert and sight reading.
It worked out really good. Awesome. Anything else? That's good to know. Definitely need to make sure they will support that. All right. But if we don't have anything else, it's 9:44. Can I get a motion for us to
I'll
go ahead?
make that motion that we adjourn.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and adjourn? Second? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity. We will see you on the 12th of December.